How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Hope boys are having a wonderful, beautiful day. We got ourselves more 5v5 duels over on the EU region. I think I did something with the webcam because I don't remember my shoulder being cut off this hard. My right shoulder, it looks like left to you because other thing being mirrored. But how you guys all doing? Hey. Hi, Dal. I like how, hold on, dude. The translation on the YouTube side of things is wacky because you literally, I'll show you exactly what I mean in a second. But on my screen, it says Faith Song. When I mouse over it, it says Hi Dal. Like, what in the world? It's saying hello to me is like translated in another language. By the way, 12.05 is coming out soon. And while it does seem like a smaller patch, right? I feel like the hype for it isn't like a brand new season, right? That is huge. That is massive. A brand new season? Everybody loses their minds. But this thing is actually kind of big. This patch, if you look at it, the gearing, the bonus roll tokens, how you can get mythic gear from dungeons. Like the bonus roll, unless I misread it, it seems like, and I read the blue post a couple of times to make sure that I got it right, but you know how we get in those bonus reroll tokens? This may not be important. It's kind of bad move to talk about it in a PvP stream because like, I don't think PvPers are going to be able to use those tokens for anything. Unless you can and get like PvP gear. I doubt it. But apparently those tokens can be used for... Huh? Oh, yeah, I changed this. Okay, yeah, okay. So I messed around with the subscription thing for EU. I decided I kind of want to pay less every single month for memberships. I've just got to do a 6 months thing. So that seems to be a reward for that. Forgot about it completely. But anyway, those tokens, what was I saying? Those tokens in a +10 dungeon can be used, one token at a time, to roll for mythic gear. Because apparently for mythic plus, it's gonna take like, you know how like at the end of a week, if you do a bunch of 10s from your Great Vault, you get a mythic item, like 1 out of 6 mythic. It apparently uses the Great Vault system to give you gear. So if you're using a +10 as a reroll, you get a mythic item. That's kind of sick, honestly. That's insane. At least to me, it's kind of insane. That's probably a little loud, isn't it? Actually, I kind of want to make the audio a little bit less loud than I normally do, just because apparently I mess up my audio so hard, on stream at least. In recordings, it's fine, but on stream, apparently I don't know my level super well. Chat! How are the groups doing? Anybody putting one together? I guess I should be doing one as well. Molten Core. By the way, we won't have Kragar tonight, but if you know any homies that usually play with Kragar or want to join in when Kragar joins in, if you want to reach out to them, be a friend of mine, that would help me out tremendously. We are not going to be doing any insane... Get in here, guy. There you are, dude. Make a group? Yeah, we're making one right now. Hopefully Johnny will make another one, right? Look at that. Hold on. Look at the chat. Hold on. This is what I'm seeing on my YouTube side. Look, it keeps translating. Like Johnny said, wow, but he's actually said, yo. And then he said, colors maybe. Kragar maybe? Faith song, Hydal. Healthy. Здорово. How does it translate здорово to healthy? Hello, привет, здорово, друзья. Здорово, здорово. Я не знаю, почему YouTube, оно все транслейтинг как его неправильно. We're full. Oh my god, you can't. So you're telling me I'm behind? Okay, I'm gonna catch up as fast as I can. Hey friend, we're putting a group together for 5v5 1 DUELS. Wanna come? I guess I also need to get my BNet messages out. You can't tell me I'm that behind, man. Hey, okay, so I'll try to see if I can just spam out a couple of these for some of the regulars. Yo, Adaby! Hey, Adaby! He's in a Crucible right now. Hey, Az! He wants to join in Azure. Hey, oh, he's already in the thing. Battlelord, PvE. Ben, I don't remember if he does stuff. Boom. Wait, that Boom from an A? Hold on. Is this the real Boom or is it the other Boom? Because there's a real Boom and then another Boom. Let me know when to inv. Yeah, I'll try to see if I can gather as many people as I can. Is AI intelligent? AI is intelligent. I guess it is AI. It's gotta be, right? Because healthy is like equals healthy. Hold on. Because healthy is like zdarovый. Zdarovый, zdarova. Ah, yeah, it's some other AI thing. You're right. You are correct. Ты правильно. You guys are speaking Russian now. I have to like switch my brain between Russian and English. Sure, let me know when to invite. I also still gotta get my caps this week. Chewbacca, do not contact this man right here. Okay, I don't know why. I'm just gonna remove Chewbacca. I don't know what this guy is. I don't know why I have a note, don't contact this guy. I feel like if I do have somebody I'm like, do not contact him, I probably shouldn't talk to him, right? Probably shouldn't say anything, should I? Gabber? Grain! My guy. Ghostite? My man. Grain is on. I don't... Oh, man. I'm excited to invite Grain, but also the way the Warriors have been playing... By the way, do you guys need me to lower down the music a little? Or is it fine? Because it's blasting in my ears and it feels comfy. I'm enjoying this. But if it's way too loud and you can't hear me, I will reduce it over on the OBS side. I do have a little bit lower today. I can get it a little bit lower if need be. Somebody fighting? Looks like spell effects went off in the back of my screen. The Shiny? Hey, Shiny. I don't know if he wants to join in. Maybe he's in a group right now. Kragar is on, but I guess he's not doing duels. Oh, Marcy's doing a raid. This Noshka is already in the group, I imagine, right? Pando. Hey, Ramaru. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna run it by him. See what he says. Hey. See if Rest in Hell wants to join in. Hey, Ghost tonight? See if Rick will be down to join some. Scabby, Sleepy Bear. Hey. We're gonna buy Shamtard as well. See if he's down for it. Or Marseille. Ah. Okay. No worries. No worries, friend. Grain, nice to meet you. I'm on level 4. Ah, okay. Hey, Grain is just now leveling. No. Yep, in the group. Ah, okay. Perfect. Lazy get DPS. I feel ya. And here. We're back in 4 months. Okay, that's fine. Okay, who else gonna get in here, man? Because I know ASUS is probably doing some PvE stuff. We got 2 rogues so far. So we could use a bit more variety, but we'll see. Hey, Ben. I'll see if Ben will be down. Hey, Blago. Maybe Blago as well. Roton, I'm pretty sure doesn't normally play. Did I message Gabber? Does Gabber join these ever? Voice from. I'll ask. Hey, Gabber. If you say 7. Adaby? Okay, well, we've got 3 rogues on this team, but that's okay. Right? It's totally okay. Rogues are not OP or anything, guys, right? That's not a problem yet, is it? Dude, I'm just trying to put a group together. If one needs to have 3 rogues for us to have a proper group, I'm okay with it at this point. Can hear you, Johnny. The music's loud. A little bit lower. Just say a little bit. Okay, I made it a little bit lower. Let me know if that's better. Yeah, because normally I have my music about like 30 about here. I've recently been listening more to like the WoW soundtracks on my non-dual streams, and I have my mix running during the dual streams instead. Does Jellies want to join? It's another rogue. Do I invite another rogue? It's gonna be a 5-man group of rogues. Dirks on a death knight. Hold on. Oh wait, no. Never mind. He's doing the thing. Well, let's get an invite, man. Does Lindrone join these? I do not remember. What's up, Insane? I like the mug. I like the bandana guy going on. Looking like a criminal, dude. 3 rogues? It's okay. It'll be fine. Rogues aren't overpowered or anything, right, boys? How's Kragar? Kragar, он нормально. Он мне написал то, что может сегодня не будет играть. Ну, посмотрим. Посмотрим, как все будет. Может, чуть-чуть поиграть. Увидим. Fell Demon, get in here, my man. Get in here. Hey, Marcy. If Marcy will be down. He's in a raid right now, but maybe he's like doing a normal or something. All right, well, we did need 1 more. We did need 1 more body. If you guys do have friends you want to invite, more than welcome to him. More than welcome to him. I gotta get back to where what was on my list. Yeah, but Kragar may play tonight. We'll see. I've not been PvP for a while. Back to the game. Okay. No worries. Outlook is bird. Dude, Outlook boss are so good this week. And have you seen them in AWC? They're everywhere, man. Outlaw is actually everywhere. What is your build that you're playing? There's a couple of variations. Yeah, people started playing the Vanish build. And you're playing all the way in KR? That's sick as hell. Yeah. I've myself not been going all the way to keep it rolling. I've actually been going double summarily. But keep it rolling is fine. I've also seen players opting out of improved for asap your sleeve. This doesn't make a difference though. Like you could take one out, put it here just for more like combo points, but it makes such a very little difference. That actually, you know what? I might go back to this just because the damage buff is good. And I kind of like the lethality combo. Bro, Trickster next week though is going to be sick. Trickster next week is going to be amazing. They are giving him nice little talent that's going to make him really good. Intro build, yeah. Well, Waz technically, if you want to give somebody credit first, technically Waz started playing the Outlaw would keep it rolling first for this expansion. And I guess on War Within too, but he first started playing here. Trill did go down the middle into the supercharger row, but that's for the AWC for raw damage and cooldowns. But essentially, like, C-Do is basically covering them on defensives. But a Vanish would be a better defensive choice. Plus CC, right? Cheap shots and stuff. I play Night Elf, so I find myself not really needing that as much. But to each is their own, right? Hey, Zikari. Let's see if Zikari will be down. I'm sure he's like queuing some solos, but I wonder if he'll be down to do some duels here and there. Who else can I invite? We got, I'm in the Neo group. Ah, okay. I didn't realize it. Who else do I invite, man? Rodor? He's already doing the thing. Rest in Hills and Eye of the Storm. Shadow? I feel like I keep asking Shadow every week, but he never gets back to me. I just get donable by him. Panda's a PvE guy, I'm pretty sure. I guess I'll ask Lindrone. Hey, Lindrone. I don't remember if he does duels at all, though. That might be barking up a tree. Everyone's ready? We need one on our team, and otherwise we're good. We just need an Unamas. I'm pretty sure I've asked everybody that I can. Unless Battler... It says PvE. I'll skip him. Unless it'll be another rogue though. It'd be another rogue, dude. It'd be another rogue. There's so many rogues. Then again, I only run a rogue focused channel, more or less. I play a rogue main, I make rogue guides, so it only would happen. I think all the troll users keep it rolling. I'm pretty sure you gotta correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say Waz also started using it before Trill. Maybe next Friday, if that's any help. Sounds good, Kier. Appreciate you for letting me know. I'm pretty sure Tricky is a PvE guy. Or just ask Atho. No, he's in next Flinziness. He's already pumping dungeons. Damn. Okay, we just need one. I don't know, Johnny, if you got a friend or something you want to send my way. If you got any homies you want to invite and send them my direction. Yeah, I'm waiting otherwise. Otherwise, I think I'm waiting. Unless maybe Dirks will be down. Hey, man. I'm gonna write it to him. I'm gonna write him real quick. See if he says anything. Can I finally get the Duels Guild? How do I finally get a Duels Guild? I can invite you if you... Yeah, you're in Goldshire Escorts right now, but if you leave, I can invite you to the Duels Guild. I'm pretty sure I have the... What is it? The permissions to invite people? I didn't make the guild. But, yeah. Randall? Wait, hold on. Does Randall join these? Randall. Left. How do I write your name then? Copy character name. How does the guild panel stuff work? Invite a member. Insane. Wait, link post in chat? Wait, hold on. Can I make it a party chat? Here we go. There you are. I think that should work. Hopefully. And if I see you on like the applicants, Leo, I didn't realize Leo was sitting there waiting. Yeah, if you end up clicking that, I'm pretty sure it would work. Oh, no, could be wrong. Can't press it. Really? It should work. I don't know how else I could really invite you then. Vechnia Piesnia. I don't know what the server name is. Because I can copy your character name, I just can't copy the server. Normally you'd be able to /g invite, tap out the person's name. But unless I could do this, hold on. What if I found you on Drustvar? Because then through Drustvar I'll be able to pull up your characters. Are you on Eversong? Wait, is that what it is Eversong? Hold on. Maybe I could do it like that. We lost a guy, by the way. G invite. Insane. Eversong. I think I sent it correctly. But I have no idea. I know I got the name right. I know I got the... What is it? The server right. Pretty sure. There we go. I knew I had it right. I knew I had it correct. Okay, so we still are looking for 2 more then. Who else can I invite, man? At this point, maybe I should just invite a bunch of rogues, dude. At this point, it just might come down to that, honestly. I'm gonna invite Battlelord, I guess. Wait. MT. I was gonna see if you wanted to join. Duels. Okay, well I messed up with that one. Damn. Okay, so we still need a couple more bodies then. Damn. I'm kind of sad that EU duels take like a second to get going. I mean, you know, whatever happens, happens, right? Hey, jellies. I'm gonna start asking rogues, dude. I'm gonna start asking all the rogues I know at this point. Like, in this situation, there just isn't much else I can do, bro, than start asking around. Because the ability today. Is that why? I mean, I can't blame you, dude. The last AWC, as a rogue player, kind of enjoyable watching some Outlaw play, right? Kind of enjoyable seeing it. But yeah, probably very, very likely. Yeah, I had no idea it was Eversong. I did not, like, that translation in my head did not pop up immediately. Did I message Rodor? Did I bug him? I don't think I did. It's in chat. Rodor. I don't think I did. Let me see if he's down. Hey, Rodor. Let's spell his name apparently. See if he'll be down. Cylon, I know is a PvE guy. Asking him would be kind of rough. Okay, we still need 2 more then. Yo, Rick. Rick, I was hoping you'd be on my team, man, because we got a lot of rogues, dude. We could use a bit of variety. We could use a bit of a shake-up. But that's okay. We still do need 2 more bodies. Where is Saya, dude? Because Saya usually joins the duels pretty regularly. Like, anybody that is not a... Wait, did I message Azures? Was Azures on earlier? Arabi? Azrael? Azures. I don't think I messaged Azures. Hold on. Hey, friend. Because we get Azures. At least it's a mage, right? At least it's a mage. А they some of the second group? Да. Вторая группа. Группа в Johnny. Они уже готовы. У них уже 5. У нас будет 4, потому что Azures is also joining. Но у нас нужно +1, и группа готова. Другая группа уже готова, у них все 5. Эта группа нужна +1. +1. I keep messing up my English and Russian. I keep flipping back and forth. That is something I gotta get better at. Honestly. Or do I feel like I should... The problem is when I start juggling 2 languages, I start making like really, really obvious and simple mistakes. Is that an ARP here, or is that like... Oh, that is an ARP here. Okay, I was thinking like there's a drag here walking with these dragons. I couldn't tell if that was a player or not. Literally could not tell. But I gotta like focus on 1 language at a time. I should not mix them. That's my problem. It starts becoming weird when I start mixing them up. When I just focus on 1, I can do okay. Sometimes I juggle 3 languages and say that stuff. Bro, I learned about this myself. Like over the past 7 years, I tried to multitask everything. But like in this past like couple of months, I started to like slow down a little. And I noticed that I'm really bad at multitasking. Like when I'm doing like 3, 4, 5 things at a time, they all come out half-assed. But if I just focus on 1, I can get done with it quick, efficient, and with less mistakes. So YouTube-wise, like you gotta get the audio, you gotta get the video, you gotta get the script, you gotta get the footage, you gotta get the recording, you gotta get everything, you gotta get the thumbnail, you gotta get all the title, research, tags, things like that. And I usually used to like kind of like juggle all these things at once, and I stopped doing that completely. I just do 1 thing at a time, and I noticed I make a lot less mistakes because of that. Playing shuffle plus chess. Yeah, oh, playing shuffle and playing chess? Okay, well, playing shuffle and chess, that's not the worst. Wait, okay, that's not the worst. I can totally see that working, right? You make a move, you play a game, it ends in like 30 seconds or so, 40 seconds, then you make another move, you play a game, you play a move. At this point, you're just keeping your mind engaged at all times. I can see that working out. Okay, so here I have a couple of people that can make lead. I'm gonna make Azrael lead, if you guys don't mind, just because it'll be easier. Okay, we are good to queue. Can't spell good. Yes, we are. Yes, we are, friend. Invite spectator match. Azrael and Johnny Boy 5 Nagrand 1. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully I got the names right. Also, a blundered duels from last week so badly, bro. So badly. I'm hoping that this week it'll work out just fine. I may need to re-queue. I don't know if Johnny was in LFG still or not. Do I need to re-queue? Somebody joined a BG just now? Wait, did they really? Okay. A battleground? What, like solo blitz? Okay. Hopefully you guys can swap out a person real quick, yeah? Team Azrael and everybody that was on team with rogues, just hang tight for a second. And if you could just let me know, like, if you lose a body, let me know, just so I can join in and try to see if we can get us a +1. But I'm hoping we just get a couple of teams, get the teams of 5, get a bunch of games, right? 3 or 4 of them, just back to back, and I'll be happy. What's up, Christopher? How you doing, my guy? Hope you're doing good. But yeah. How's AWC going, by the way? What are the comps looking like right now? Is that like... Does Dresswar live track it by chance? Because I really like the Dresswar as a website. I just don't know if they track AWC. They track and feature streams, but they're not tracking AWC by the looks of it. Tournaments. Oh, maybe they are tracking AWC actually. Hold on. North America Cup, Walter the Jungle. Oh, they are... That's from last week. Okay, that's April 10th. Wait. All expansions midnight season 1. Yeah, that's from last week. Okay. So they do track data only after it happens, unfortunately. Damn. Alright, Johnny, let me know when you guys are good, and I'll send it. Игра будет? Да, игры будут. Johnny, у них было 5, но один человек, он взял Q на Battlegrounds, я не знаю, это соло или что, но ждем, когда они его могут replace. И тогда будем играть. Current meta is broken. We need season 2 to get better game. Yeah, we just need the next patch update. You know, don't worry about it now, guys. It'll be fixed in the future update. Patch 12.03 or 12.3. By season 3, they'll get it fixed up. Don't you worry. Just have some patience. They talk about like the AWC meta or like the overall like arena meta in general. Because the AWC I usually tends to be... Sometimes it mimics the current meta, and other times it's its own unique beast. Just patient as always. Yeah, exactly. Just be patient. What's your opinion on the transmog? I told you I like it. I like the bandit mask. I like the green going on. The green and yellow. You look like a bandit, man. I like it a lot. Мне нравится. Весь бандит. Не знаю, как его belt. Я не знаю, как сказать belt. Ну, это какого? Ну, purple. Фиолетовые. Ты все... Как его? Желтые, зеленые, чуть-чуть красные там. Ну, неплохо. Belt? How do you say that? Poyas! Is that what it is? Poyas? Okay. Forgot that word entirely. In the first group, the one... в первой группе чел на BG пошел. I like how... Hold on. How did YouTube translate letters BG into battleground? It actually translated correctly. Because if you translate his words, первой группе, which means in the first group, чел, which means человек, на BG пошел. Now, he went to a BG. And YouTube AI translated it to, in the first group, a guy went to the battlefield. How did it know a BG means battlefield? What in the actual same hell? That's wild. BG is big, да. Я это знаю, но это как бы это геймер слово. Я не знаю, как YouTube AI знал, что BG это Battleground. Я не знаю, как AI знает. Понятно? Меня это сюрприз чуть-чуть. I didn't find a proper healer for AWC. Won't play with people who join it for fun. Wanna find no lifers who can practice 24/7 and wanna try AWC. It's a bit hard to find those people. I really do hope you find those people, Rick. I feel like you really do have what it takes, man, to really compete and do well. Need a belt? I like that better. Мне нравится. Это чуть-чуть получше. Это с красками это больше желтые. I don't know how to say it in Russian, but the entire color palette looks better, in my opinion. I like it. Ready? All right, let's set it again. The grand it is, boys. First Duels of EU, and hopefully I don't bungle them up like I did with Duels of NA. Otherwise, you don't have to be watching my mug in the corner of your screen. That was just, that was embarrassing for me, bro. I was like, oh no, this was such good duels. Like, I have the footage, but it just does not look as good. If I want to know the AWC, I'll get freedom, so I'm very motivated for it. One AWC, and that's like your goal accomplished. I'm rooting for you, Rick. I'm rooting for you. I'll be the one man supporting Rick. If nobody supports Rick, I'll be the only one. If no one supports Rick, then I'm dead. How does that whole meme go, dude? I'll be supporting Rick to, like, hell and back against all odds. I'm all in for Team Rick Meister, bro. 100%. 100%. Alrighty, switch. I mean it too, Rick. I mean it too. I mean it. We got ourselves a whole squad of rogues here. We got ourselves Adaby. I like Adaby's mog, the purple with those blades in particular. I am excited the fact that I was going to mention his blades go in the back. I like those blades, but actually you're going to be able to get more weapons to go in your back. And I wonder for Insane if you'll be able to get these like hook weapons to also go in the back as well. We got ourselves Hate, we got ourselves Azures here ready to go, and we got ourselves first up is going to be, is it Insane? Oh, they're still trying to figure out. I was thinking they were trying to give it a go. Oh, why this neck on Azrael? I like this mug. These shoulders, bro. You never see them. They're so cool. Oh, they're so sick. Look at that. Katanas, they just load up, and then the fire. Look at that. Oh, it's so cool. Warlord's General was not an expansion that I enjoyed. I don't even want to count it as part of Warcraft's history for that matter. It was like a blip. It was like a hiccup in Warcraft's history. But damn, that set for rogues was so good. Primordial, I think it was. Stun onto Hate, does go for a pre-wall in between of that whole go. Try to see if he can keep himself alive there. Got himself a bit of movement. The man is going to take a lot of damage. Hate better have some damage. Got himself big Tempest flying in. Lots of output. Man is just trying to see if he gets some casts off. Wait, Imoshka does get rooted for a second with a short stun by the Earth Elemental. Does Hate have no survivability? Man is just going all damage, but a Skull Bash from afar. Not even a Skull Bash, it's just a normal charge with the bleeds is going to take him out. Hate was setting up some decent damage, but unfortunately, I think maybe you should have went a little bit more heal heavy at some point, right? As soon as his health really started to dip, you got to root into the guy's stun to follow, maybe spam healing, because Elemental Shaman healing, and then Druid healing, and some of the other hybrid class healing is actually very, very, very strong. Shaman in particular, I think, is some of the best out there right now. Imochka does get hit with a kidney. Ezreal tried to see if he can get him out of feral form, out of bear into cat form, but it's not going to be happening. Imochka may have to go for a wall here. Evasion out for Azrael, so there's nothing Imochka can do. Is that man just going to melt all the way down into the grave? All those blades are on him. Does have a wall. Bash onto Az as soon as the stun comes through with the Convoke the Spirits. Damage flies in with a maim to follow. Even more blades. He's got himself the most amount of dots and rots onto Az. Az with a Garou, but unfortunately the feral blades are incredibly powerful. Feral druids are absolutely demolishing with how much damage they've got. He just had to wait. He had to be patient. That perfect wall lineup was great for him. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You were doing damn too. We're doing a lot of damn too. Kind of wish we could just go like, what is up, rogue stacking right now, haste and crit for a lot of the PvE gear. I really wish we could have haste and crit in PvP. Do you know how fast face would be? So many calm points, so much energy regen, it would be crazy. Azure's trying to see if he can find Imochka, but the man, I thought I swapped to one person, but he does shift back into team 2 starting point. For Azure's, he may just have to pick up eyes. Imochka trying to see if he can land himself a corner sight. And that's going to be, I think Azure's gotcha. Unless you get the stun, does go for the stun. Blink for Azure's immediately. Fire Mage is to get a good setup onto Imochka. Meteor coming down. Big combust. Meteor, I think, does connect. He's playing the Phoenix. Phoenix landing on his side. Imochka, as long as he's taking constant damage from the Phoenix, he's going to be taking a lot of damage from that thing. Look at the passive nature of it all. Barrages back to back. Azure is still taking a bit of that bleed damage, but he's still continuing to pelt Imochka with Pyroblast back to back. Actually stacked up a decent bit of that fire dot damage, but the Feral Druid resets behind the pillow are very, very effective. I thought the rogue had the droid. I thought so too. Honestly, Emochka got so low, but that wall last second with that shield dampened the damage, got a bit of that healing. He waited perfectly until a stun and then landed the full go, which is exactly what he needed. Exactly what he needed. For Azures, he does get himself a recovery as well as a shadow melt for Emochka. He may decide to pick up eyes. He thinks that Azures is out, maybe pressing invis, but Azures doesn't have invis. Azures definitely doesn't have invis. I think Emochka is treating it like it's a rogue. Seeing the mage popping out, that does go for a stun. Immediate blink. He interrupted him instantly on that combo. Juking out a kick. Emochka taking huge hits. This is not actually, no, he does get a combustion. I was thinking this was not combustion. How did you get combustion that quick? Big bites and Azures made us have to go for a reset. God, Emochka's super low. Trying to see if he can maximize whatever damage he's got. Meteorites flying down. Just sees a little bit more damage. May have to go for a block. He has no health. Does go for a block and Emochka's still alive. But the Azures try to see if he can pop an invis immediately. Looking to reshift. Emochka is out and about. At the very least, you do see where Emochka is at. So you can go for mage food. Does go for invis. And eat. Wait, you're invis and eating. You're invisible and eating. I didn't realize you could go invisible and eating. He's actually getting a full reset with that massive invis and eat. I am surprised he's getting a full massive invis and eat. Is that a thing? Is that the tech? Azures recovered a ton of health, though he's still in a rough spot. He's got a trinket, he's got altar, he doesn't have any big outs. Immediate trinket, immediate damage out onto Emochka. Blinks right after, altar is available. Emochka back behind the pillar, and this way Azures is going to take a bit of that bleed, actually a lot of that bleed damage. Look at his health, just absolutely getting ripped apart. Is just going to have to let that altar time tick out, so at least he can reset his health. And that's going to give him a moonfire, whatever dot damage Emochka's got. Emochka as a feral got himself everything he needs. Barskin, wall, he's got himself Heart of the Wild if he ever needs it. Kaboke is in play. He does have at least an image or two chasing after him, so it's going to at least put him in combat. And for Azures, unless he can get out of combat himself, which maybe he might be able to. He's got a massive invis really soon, sitting down for food. He knows the Pharaoh is fast on approach. Is going to go for an invis really early. Does the Pharaoh randomly swipe him? If Azures times this correctly, he can massive invis and eat. He has no idea. That mage is going to get a full reset, dude. This mage is a better rogue than anybody. He is invisible, and Emochka has no way to find him at all. With invisibility, you can't even like run by him and then see him in stealth, because it's just full pure invisibility. He's just out of his sight. Immediate stun. This Emochka goes in for a skull bash to close the gap, but her breath connects. Meteor, Phoenix Flames. Emochka tried to see if he can fight through the pain here. For Azures, this is a great situation. Immediate interrupt on the Convoke. Just insta into a root for a second. Does he have altar? He does. So he's trying to see if he can get whatever damage he can. Emochka with a wall, just rotating even more defenses. Another kick onto Azures. Azures unfortunately just doesn't have anything of a defensive. He does get Emochka on the run right now, but Azures is still under a ton of pressure. Does he have food? Does he have any way to recover, or does he just bleed out? This shield's last second. Tried to drop combat, sitting down for food. That's going to be Ring of Frost. That's all he's got right now. Emochka tried not to walk into it, but for Azures, unfortunately, those bleeds are way too rough. Actually, nothing he could do. With Insane getting a cheap shot. Got himself a drone rush. Gonna be a bit of those ambushes out onto Emochka. Try to see if he can grapple over to him to get some damage going. Emochka landing a stun onto Insane. If he gets another subtle bleeds like he did with last rogue, there's nothing that Insane can do. Does go for a trinket, but an immediate, instantaneous root out of Emochka. Does end up locking down the rogue. Cloak Shadows to break it. Does get himself a couple of ambushes. Do you play ambush? I don't think it's Outlaw Rogue. Do they play ambush? I mean, ambush is going to do a decent bit of damage. Could be wrong, maybe, but he's got himself the setup. Hold on, the rogue is actually surviving just fine. He's got bleeds on him, but he's not taking the most amount of damage. Convoke defensively to catch up all that healing, and a couple of rats onto Adaby. But Emochka got himself full recovery. Insane, I don't know if he's got too many bleeds on him. Looks like not enough bleeds to go for a bit of a eat. And for Emochka, that's a reset he needed, but he's got no trinkets. Insane also doesn't have trinkets, and he doesn't really have too many in terms of cooldowns. Eyes are available for either side. So it's really going to come down to whichever one of these two picks up the eyes and finds the other. For Emochka, the question is, does he have the damage? Does he have the bleeds? Because if he does, he might be okay. Insane, however, he has blind, he has advantage, so maybe he can go for a couple of hit and runs. Dow Soup, what's up, Jake? What's Soup, Jake? How you doing, my man? What's up, Mac? How you doing, my guy? I hope you guys are having a good one. Sap out of the rogue. Emochka try to go for a bit of a thrash. Does have Bark Skin and Berserk, so he's actually got stuff to work with. I don't think he's going to just send a bar skin. It is an Outlaw Rogue, so their opener isn't going to be as heavy at the start, but it is going to be powerful either way. Cheap kidney shot with a bar skin to follow. Insane could be in a bit of trouble if he's letting too many of those bleeds sit on him. He is going to need to think about his health right now. He does have a little bit more health being an Outlaw Rogue. I think tried to go for a cheap shot, but immediate maim and a combo. Emochka landing those cooldowns, got himself a Berserk, full damage, and Adaby Try to see if he can swing over. Sap right before the Feral gets caught in the cat form. This Feral has been so good, countering these rogues really well. Adaby tried to see if he can get himself over there. ONYXIA does have a trinket, so for Adaby, he's going to have to be very careful. Root for a moment, he can't really get out of it whatsoever. He just stuck out in the open. Wild Bleed is still rolling on him. So unless Adaby... Actually, Adaby is going to go behind the pillar, and ONYXIA is not going to go after him. Looks like he's waiting for cooldowns. Because technically, I was thinking this way, ONYXIA could go in, send the bleeds in. Does go for the stun. Try to figure out if the rogue is going to go for trinket. Does go for the trinket. Gouge. Trinket is available for the Feral. Rogue has an evasion in case he needs to. Landing another cheap shot into ONYXIA. Trying to go for a kick, but apparently that's going to be, was that the precog? I'm assuming. Evasion out for Adaby. Wall for ONYXIA with a basket to follow. Vanish out for the rogue. Does he just get back in to try to see if he can get the Feral? Catches him out of bear form. Can he go for the sap? I think so. He goes in for cheap shot. Is he going to be able to have enough damage to finish him off? Yet another stun needs to come through. He does get the stun, and he does land it. The Feral Druid has been tearing the whole team apart. And they're sending Rick after him. That's cruel. The Feral was tough on that entire team. And now he's going to go against the Demonology Warlock? I feel like that's like the worst matchup for 80 Rogue spec. Doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna get the opener, you're gonna get him with a skull axe toss, and then it's AoE fear or a mortar coil, then maybe a fear after while the warlock sets up all the bets, then a full tyrant. And I guess the question is for Adaby. Adaby has to play around vanishes at this point. I really think Adaby needs to play around vanishes because at the very least, Rick doesn't have too many sources of dot damage. So Adaby is gonna have to play around vanishes too. As soon as you have a tyrant, vanish it and run away. That's all you can do. That is all you can do. I see a tyrant, I think you just run away. I think you just vanish and run away. Mortical, he's locking him down. Not giving the rogue a bit of a breather. There goes the vanish. Adaby does get himself the reset. That's going to be where a lot of damage out for Rick. Try to suspect the rogue to attack him immediately. Adaby doesn't do it. Now you have a cloak. Cloak won't let you get out of the situation. You need 40 seconds on another vanish. But for Rick, that is going to be eyes picked up. Pets are getting sent in, and Adaby will not get himself a proper opener. Already getting those shadow bites around the pillar. But if he can maybe land a stone onto the main pet, cheap shot onto Rick with Shadow Blades, separate the Warlock and the Felguard. This could give him a situation that Rick would have to trinket for potentially, but he doesn't even have a trinket. Adaby is just trying to see if he cut across down the middle. The pet can still go for its axe toss from behind the pillar. Or before he gets behind the pillar. There goes the axe toss. Rick is there all fast in the approach. AoE fear immediately. Got all those pets. Adaby does have a trinket. Landing the kidney shot. This is where you need to do the most amount of damage. Rick with the dark bag does not go for the wall here just yet. Unfortunately, no Cloak of Shadows for this one. You will need to send defenses here, Adaby, to live. Cloak of Shadows, try to see if you can rip through Rick. Rick with the wall. 1 second on the vanish. You do have a vanish now. Yet another cheap shot. Do you just go on with more stuns? Or do you just vanish? Evasion. You don't have the health. You gotta vanish. You gotta dip out. Tyrant, you don't want to go back in there. I think that's what Rick was trying to see. He's like, hey, maybe I can bait a kick out of this road. Shadow Strike kick. I'll go for a fear immediately. He does have the pets on him, apparently. So apparently there is some sort of a doubt on him. Getting shot, the rogue is going to get sent to the other side of the pillar. You just get it back in there. You into Axel. Hold on. Rick might just die. Hold on a second, Adaby. If you have one more Shadow Step, you may just be able to pull this off. Maybe. Fear by Rick with a port. Adaby has no health. Smoke bomb for a second. He needs a heal. Is sipping up available. Sprinting over. Rick catching up a little bit of healing. You need to land CC on him. Cheap shot trades with a mortical. You're not out of the woods just yet. You're not done just yet, bud. You're not done yet. Into big gateway. Does Adaby have any more mobility? He's out of options. He has to go behind the pillar. You need to give yourself whatever healing you can. Cheap shot on the pet. With a coup de grace. Rick has no health whatsoever. He's picking up the ice, so the Adaby can't even go for a reset or anything at all. Blind on the pet. You just rush out Rick, maybe? You do catch a reset. He still has eyes on you. He still got eyes on you. He goes in for a step. Is it enough? He doesn't close the gap just quite yet. The glide for Rick has given him that much more mobility. Adaby does not have an out for this situation. I think he's just going to get locked out on that fear. Couple of pops out of that tyrant. That was such a close duel. Dude, the Feral Druid absolutely stomping tonight. Actually, just so much damage. Gotta love it, dude. Gotta love it. Feral is very spooky. And their healing in particular, by the way, their regrowths are really good. I'm kind of surprised by it. I remember when they used to be kind of sort of weak, but they're really good. I think between the Feral and Shaman, those two might be the only classes that have like any good healing output right now, just in terms of life healing. Azrael, let me know if your team is still good, my guy. Man, what do I call this project actually? What were the names for these? What was the highest number that I had? 155, 185. Okay, so there'll be 186, I think. Alrighty, cool. Are we good? We're good. Let's do a 12 run. We'll give you guys a big arena for all these caster boys. Plus, also Team Leo didn't really get much of a chance to play. Hopefully 12 run works. If I need to requeue, let me know. Didn't you kill another arena by chance? Cringe dork. I think I've seen this guy running around before. Requeue. Let's see. If not 12 around, then I guess we go Hope Point. I feel like Hook Point is a small arena. It's personally one of my favorites, but it is very, very tiny. Compared to like a Tolveron or a Grand. Hell, it's not even that it's tiny. I think it's just the pillar positioning and the wall. Right, the two walls on the side, the pillars down the middle. It does make it a little bit more condensed feeling. Alrighty, switch. We got ourselves Emochka, man, absolutely popped off. I like his mog. He's looking like a straight up monk. I also like his little backpack too. That thing is a classic, man. Also, what is that tabard? I don't think I recognize it. It almost looks like Dwarven, doesn't it? I can't tell. Can't tell. Compact. I think you're right. Yeah, this map is definitely compact. We got ourselves Skirty here. I like how you're switching up the mogs, man. Every week so far. Leo on this team as well. We got ourselves Emochka and Rick over in the back skulking around. Like, what a goober, man. Got ourselves Adaby. Is he first up? No, he's not. It looks like it's Azrael on this team. We got ourselves Azure's Hate. I really want to see Hate go, but it looks like might be sending out Insane first. Is that versus Rick? This man is rearing to go. It is going to be Rick. Rick is, I think, going to be a pretty hard counter for a lot of rogues. It's not impossible to beat a Warlock as a rogue. It just is very, 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 very tough. I think the only one that's really been able to do well against... Oh my god, the AoE here. He didn't even see the rogue. He just immediately went for an AoE. I think you saw the sap on the pet. And you just chance, like, maybe I'll just go for a fear. Maybe the rogue is nearby. Gateway out for Rick and then gated back. You're just like, all right, I'm out. Okay, I'm back in. We're back, guys. I don't know if you meant to gateway back to forth like that, but he did avoid Insane completely. That is a full pet. I think at this point, you don't have Vanish anymore. Never mind, and instead he's gonna get thrown behind the pillar. He does drop a smoke bomb, so the pet's gonna get discombobulated for a second. Does get a short charge towards Rick, but he really needs to stay next to Rick and really build up a lot of damage. Use evasion, use Cloak of Shadows, does land his thrown onto Rick with an Adrenaline Rush, so this is an opportunity for you to get the most amount of damage you can. Rick picking up a bit of a heal. As long as Rick is fine on health, he can just keep pumping, putting the pressure onto Insane. Insane has a decent bit of health to work with, but it looks like it's just not enough versus Rick. As a rogue, however, Outlet in particular, you can pick up a few talents to give yourself a bit more health. So you do have a little bit more of that longevity. You can stick around a little bit longer. But your self-healing is still very, very limited. More like damage avoidance more than anything. But it is still pretty decent. Hate with a bit of a Stormkeeper, trying to see if he can get himself a setup route onto Rick. Mortical as the Ascendance does pop off the... As long as he can get himself an angle, he might be able to get some pressure on him. He's going to have to slow down and I think heal himself from time to time. He definitely has to, but look at those heals, man. Every single time he casts himself a quick surge, he's able to level out a little bit. Rick is like a cheat code. Number one, shuffle lock. Rick is really, really good. Really, really good. That being said, it looks like Warlocks in general are pretty good this season, right? From what we've seen in duels, I mean, Evanescence over on the Affliction was doing pretty insane. But we also have Destro Warlock homies too that also do really, really well, right? So Warlock in general is very, very strong, but not impossible to beat. They're just tough. They're just really, really tough. I think it's that pet. I think it's just the fact they have some of the best pets in the game for PvP. Into a stun off of a lasso. Unfortunately, the lasso is going to be DR'd a little. Quick fear. Hate may have to be looking for a bit of a re-heal at some point, maybe behind the pillar. It is going to be more fear spammed in. But Rick, as he's setting up even more demons, got himself a big old spell guard. Doom guard actually, with a pit lord just barreling down on him. For Hate, he does go for the root. Is going to give himself a bit of a breather. For Rick, all he could really do in that situation is just build up even more pets off of the... Okay, this is Rick's tech. I forgot about it completely. Rick can literally send his Diabolus demons at his target even if he's not attacking him. So he used that Earth Elemental. Is this still attacking Rick? No, I think he killed it. I think the thing literally fell apart. But he can literally build resources off of that pet. Wait, the turret actually got an angle? I was honestly thinking the turret was just running all over the place. He actually went around to keep casting. Did that fix the turret AI? That thing used to be such a stupid demon. He's still casting. How long does that turret last? That guy got so much value. So many casts. Knocked back by hate, but it's gonna be Mortical immediately. Rick sending out even more pets. Anyway, as I was saying, Rick can basically cycle in through his soul shards to summon more of those Diablos demons. The Pit Lord, the Chaos Mother, the Overlord, and they will actually be on target. Like, they'll do a pretty good job just staying on target the entire time. It's actually very, very surprising. Totem down, try to see if you can pincer Rick in place. Is going to go for the trinket out of that CC. Rick with the immediate port. Looks like that totem does not contain him. And Hate got himself a lot of potential damage. He's got himself Ascendance in case he needs to. Try to see if he can go for a leap in order to get himself a better position. But an Axios immediately stops him. You can see Rick just kind of skulking around. He doesn't really want to be in front of Hate ever. Hate has good mobility, but not amazing mobility to catch up to Rick immediately. He has cooldowns that he's got to play around with. Ghost Wolf helped, but like cost and slows by the Curse of Exhaustion is going to end up countering it a little bit. Even the Ghost Wolf does like limit how bad of a slow you can get, it is still you're still going to have a little bit of a slow. It does still like slow your approach. I was trying to see if you can find another word better than slow, because I feel like I said the word slow like way too many times. I think it might be done for Raid though. Last time, yeah, it's over. Rick setting up all those demons with a full stun lock combo, waiting until the perfect opportunity. And once he's got the army behind him, lock down the target, not let him go anywhere. Immediate breath by Jurs, looking to go for a Ring of Frost. Looks like no. Axos by the pet, immediate fear, breaks out of it immediately. That's going to be Rick behind the pillar, porting out. Again, trying to go for a little bit of that kite and run play. It's going to be the pet, the Phoenix, actually, if you can get himself an angle. The Phoenix would do some damage, but it looks like it's just attacking the demon instead, because Rick is trying to be very cognizant of his positioning. That Phoenix is just a damage turret. Axe toss onto Azures does blink away. That is going to be a lot of pets together with the Tyrant pumping up the rest of the army. And for Azures right now, he just got to be very, very careful not to get swarmed by all those demons at once, trying to go for a bit of invis, but the AoE, unfortunately, from the Felguard is going to break him out. Letting a couple of pyros onto Rick with a melt for a second, trying to go for more invises, I think. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get out of combat anytime soon. Unfortunate. Azure's trying to see if he can get himself a clean escape. Breath into a Ring of Frost. Try to see if he can leave all those pets frozen and behind. Or actually instead, is going for an invis. Trying to see if he can potentially reposition out of it. Is going to be maybe going for a breath. No, Nova for a second. Meteor down onto Rick. Does he go for a port? Axe toss as soon as the pet does get around the corner with an immediate AoE fear as soon as Azure blinks out of that stun. Does have the combustion, does have the Phoenix, but Rick again is in a better position where he's avoiding the Phoenix entirely and trying to see if he can avoid Azure as best as he can. As soon as he closes the gap, Mortical is sending his face, fear to rotate, making sure that all that crowd control is as tight as it can be. At least one raw palette for each team. You think so? Oh yeah, we don't have a pally on this in this group, do we? Hey, you guys get yourself that lucky? No paladin game, huh? I mean, hey, if you get paladins tonight, we got paladins tonight, but that's not a rule of no pallies. That's just for NA. Only NA really wanted it. It's not a rule for EU. It just, look, I didn't do it on purpose. Also, the rogues you may want to hide because that Doomguard is probably going to end up doing a bit of cleave damage. He's trying to focus on Azures, but if there's anybody near him, he'll just scream it for free. Azure, however, is not an amazing situation. All those pets ascend him immediately. Cannot sit down for a breather whatsoever. Manages having to play super defensively versus all of those pets. That Felguard not giving him any breathing room at all. You think Felguard goes back over it? Yeah, he's going to end up AoEing him out immediately. Azure has no other option but to run in. Combustion. He doesn't even have a block anymore. He's going to have to play around a trinket, which he just used, and cauterize. That's all he could do. Blinks out of that axe toss immediately. He will need to find a way to lock down Rick. I don't really know how you do it, but eventually your cauterize is going to proc, and it's actually right on the edge of it, teetering right there with a single bite from a Fellhound. You might just do it. There goes the cauterize. You don't have an option anymore. You don't have room for mistakes. At this point, however much health you got is however much health you got. Sitting there for food, but immediately the pets around him. Got yourself a couple of bites, but that's about all you got. At this point, all he can do is maybe try to see if he can catch a breath. Rick porting out of the way. Rick is just letting him rot with those pets attacking him. He knows as long as he's nowhere near Azure's, he's eventually going to win that with all his pets. We have our Pala friends we need to play together, so 1 FOF for each team would be fair. We have our Pala friends. Yeah, if you guys want to do for one our Pala Curdy, I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine if you guys want to invite our Palas. GG, Magaro, GG. Wait, were you the shaman? Are you gonna play more? Or are you saying GG because you're gonna dip? You're welcome to keep playing, by the way. Full dots, full bleeds are onto Rick, and Rick has not used wall, has not used dark pact. Try to see if he can just put himself against the corner, try to send this rogue way out there. I don't know if this is going to be enough though. Wall, that is going to be at least a bit of a defensive for Rick. Got him some gateway, and Azrael right now is in a position where he just cannot chase after him, does go for the advantage, but Rick is in a position where he can always gate back if he ever needs to. So for Azrael, he does have Cloak, he does have a Meld, he does have Kingsbane, but he just was not able to get the most amount of dots onto Rick. The best he can do right now is wait until Dark Pact is gone, and then try to see if he can have another go. We're dueling? What's up, Emo Kai? Yes, we are, friend. Yes, we are. Immediate evasion. I wonder if Azrael was able to dodge an axe toss out of Rick as a response. He does go for a quick gouge on the pet. Rick is in a position where he could always port. He's trying to see if he cut the rogue as far as possible. Mortal Coil sent out midair. So even as rogue shadow steps up, Mortal Coil connects with the port. Look at Rick avoiding everybody. Cloak shadows for Azrael to make sure there's no slows. Does get himself another step. I feel like for Rick, there's got nowhere to go. But I fear as soon as that Cloak of Shadows is gone, does give him breathing room, creating some space away from Azrael. And is going to be able to go for a Tyrant. Does have a Meld. He does have a Meld. Maybe a Meld and catch a reset. You need to just run away from the pets, go for a Meld to make sure they can't attack him, because that Felguard spin, the Fellstorm, is not going to let him catch an easy reset. As soon as he's trying to close the gap, there it is. I wonder if he's already got a Mortal Coil, because Rick can have Mortal Coil and an AoE field, which is just absolutely kind of busted, honestly. Azrael needs to land a lockdown onto Rick. He has no trinket. Mortal Coil immediately. Rick in a position to go for a fear to follow up, actually just locking it out completely. Azrael is helpless in this situation. Got himself a smoke bomb, tried to see if he could find himself just a little bit more time, just a little bit time to recover, but maybe all his hope drained with that Warlock just absolutely decimating the team. Trinket immediately for Adabay does go for a Cloak, chase it after Rick. Wall right after. Isn't Wall going to be able to do enough though? Fear to follow is going to get hit with the fear. And for Rick, this is at least a bit of recovery. That drained life actually is doing a decent bit of healing. Hold on. If you channel that for a little bit more, you could at least get yourself to half health. That actually did a decent bit of healing and 52% dampening. Not amazing, but like for 52% dampening, he was starting to recover. His health bar actually going up. But get another cheap shot. A subtlety rogue out of me. After they've strained everything out of Rick, when he has no other options to deal with these rogues, Adaby is going to get opened up on by ONYXIA, taking a lot of that bleed damage. I think there's nothing Adaby can do right now, right? Maybe vanish to just live with the bleeds. Just live with these dots, but the Feral immediately chasing after him. Evasion is available. Adaby just trying to do whatever he can on his end just to survive. Barskin out for ONYXIA. For Adaby, he needs to find a reset. That's the only way he can really get himself an out here. I don't know if he'll be able to. He can meld, but as long as it bleeds, there's nothing he can do. Even if he melds, it's just over. Rick! This guy's incredible. I'm on a team. OP team. You think so? They're pretty strong. They are, well, I'd say Rick is pretty OP, isn't he? Rick has been in these duels for quite a while, man. I feel like everybody's OP. I imagine he would fit the bill. 180. Wait, do I need to? So I'm saving the Audacity clips, but like they're not really. Are they being saved? I don't. They are. What's weird though is I'm not running into any issues on the naming convention. Oh. Weird. Alright, Azrael and Johnny, let me know when you guys are good. I'm just gonna double check the audio just to make sure it doesn't like get all messed up. No, it actually worked, but what if I were to rename it? Or name it for the same thing? Duels 188. Is it gonna run into problems? Oh, it is. Okay. Weird. Okay, I need to be careful then. Not really OP, just the other team with 3 rogues, pharaohs, and warlocks counter him. You think so? Hey, Dal, what's up, GF2? How you doing, my guy? Hope you're having a good one. Ready? Okay, we send it again. We do not Dalaran. Do Dalaran sewers. I feel like Dalaran will be a big warlock, not counter rogues. Ah! For rogues, warlocks are kind of tough. I want like lie. For warlocks, warlocks are a little tough. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. Just tiny scary. You know. Mostly because of the pet. Right, you get the opener and then you hit you with a pet. I know how to be Dima as a rogue. I mean, is it impossible? No, it's more of an even match, but it is kind of tough for rogue. Like, there are some classes that are just tough for rogues. Like, Pally is kind of rough in a pure 1v1. Mage is easier. Hunter is easier. Monk is a 50-50. Warlock is tough, but not impossible. But it is tough. It is tough. As a Pharaohs are great. Pharaohs are doing really, really good. We have a POG team. You guys do. You guys definitely do. Definitely do. With pillars, portals? Yeah, I guess with pillars and portals and mobility, it definitely can make things tough, but not impossible, technically. Which 100k is a blood DK. Let's go. That's massive. Okay, UI is fixed. Beautiful. We got ourselves Adaby. Is it gonna be first up? Looks like Azure is gonna be first up. As they got ourselves. What's your name? Takisha? Takisha? I don't even. You're gonna get launched insane. Woo. Yeah, if you guys want to hang out about like where everybody else is at, you'll be fine. Leo actually getting a chance to play, summoning up all of his pets. The army of undeads rushing in. Azure switching over to the Frost Mage instead. Got himself a full Ray of Frost, second Ray, but it does get stunned up. Unfortunately, Leo took quite a hefty bit of damage. Azure's cleaving down all those pets together with a Death Knight. He's going to go for a block as Leo continues to summon up even more undeads, as many armies of undeads as possible. I think Ray to go for a big Death Strike if he ever needs to. Is he still playing the talent where he sacrifices the ghouls whenever he goes for a Death Strike to give him some more healing? It might be. Azure does get himself a very clean reset, however. Out of that block, breath, and walks away from the army. Immediate invis, man. Try to see if he can get himself a good setup right now. With Leo, looking to get himself a bit of a better position around the corner. Try to see if he can rush in. It's going to be Frozen Orb immediately hits him. Is he... He's got to be... Yeah, Frozen Orb travels with you. Yeah, that thing does so much damage. Frozen Orb actually hits kind of hard now. You gotta love it. It's actually big value. It's going to be Leo getting absolutely shredded. Silence on the Azures. Does go for a Trinket Blink to try to see if he can get out of the... Is he Blink or is he Shimmer? I can't even tell. Does interrupt him on a Ray of Frost, so he won't be able to do damage in that regard. But he can at least stop the army of undead with a full stun. Big spike. Is that enough? Leo does go for an IBF to break out of the stun immediately. Azure's getting gripped back in. Does have another block in case he needs to. Big shields are available. That's going to give him a bit of that survivability. There goes the block. Seeing Leo commit a bunch of movement. He's going to be able to get himself a reset. Unfortunately, Leo does have a full army of undead ready to go. Death and Decay. It's full blind. I don't know if he needs to go for the full armor build, but he is going to summon him. But no, he's not going to summon all of them. Some of them. He's going to summon some of them. But it is going to be the mage going down, unfortunately, with Insane trying to get himself a proper opener. Got himself just between the eyes, slamming into Leo. Unfortunately, there's still a Frozen Orb chasing after Leo. I don't know if it's actually doing damage or not, but definitely would help Insane. Cloak and evasion. This rogue is just completely... pretty much immune to damage. He just needs to get himself a better angle in order to catch up to Leo. Does go for vanishes, trying to make as much damage happen as possible. Leo got himself a little bit of healing. Death Pack does proc for him. Doesn't go for the real Death Pack, does go for the proc one instead. Just down for a moment is Insane. Trying to continue the pressure. Grapple hooks out the range. He sees one good shot. Does get the shot right in the back. The rogue doesn't even look at his target. He's just gonna shoot him right in the back, get him out of there. Immediate trinket of Insane. Getting the shot onto ONYXIA, does reverse it with a maim. Still gonna be all the bleeds by onto Insane. I don't know if Insane got any healing. Being an outlaw, he might be able to lift his bleeds. If he like runs out of it, but looks like unfortunately ONYXIA is gonna be able to catch up and get himself one last bite. With Azrael gonna be up next. The team one is losing members little by little. But against ONYXIA, if they can kind of put themselves together versus him, they might be okay. They might be alright. Does go for ambush, does go for a bark skin. There's going to be a little bit of dots gouged by Azrael, just trying to see if he can get himself an opener. It looks like he's just going to go, you know what? I got a bark skin out of him. I'm going to catch a reset. Go for a full go. Got himself a clean, easy re-stealth. No bleeds on him. Maybe that is the play. Just go for a little bit of a hit and run. Eyes are available for either side as we head into the 3-minute mark. Azrael is roaming out in the middle while ONYXIA is sticking by one of the boxes, and unfortunately as he tries to do that, he's going to put himself out in the open. Azrael technically does have every defensive and offensive he could use here. He could just send literally everything. That is going to be a Kingsbane. Evasion, so the Pharaoh cannot even go for a bash. This is where ONYXIA might be in a bit of trouble. Azrael is not going for a death mark at all. I was thinking this would be a perfect opportunity to go for it. ONYXIA is waiting out until the evasion is out from the rogue. Trying to see if he can catch himself maybe a re-stealth. He's not able to. It's going to be steps out of the rogue. ONYXIA is in a rough situation. Hold on. Back to bear form. Vanish out for Azrael. He got all those bleeds onto ONYXIA. Still has a death back in case he needs to go road to follow him. Just trying to see if he can get away from Pharaoh. He knows there's going to be a stun. Does go for an immediate trinket. Kid is shot right after. There goes the death mark. Wall is available. ONYXIA is going to need to use it immediately. Wall is in play. Got himself a bit of that shielding, a bit of that healing. Kick on the convoke. ONYXIA, as soon as that wall of bars can fall off, he might be in a lot of trouble. Azrael is getting bled up. Back-to-back bites. Yet another Garrote. Cheap shot to follow. ONYXIA, I think, is going to go down. Azrael had to send everything there. The rogue playing aggressive. Popping that evasion. Putting the Pharaoh low, needed to live long enough for the Pharaoh defenses to go down, and the rogue, in a lot of the cases, will survive that almost every time. Not literally every time, but almost every time, because rogues, I gotta be honest, they get away with some things that I feel like other classes would never get away with. Ever. Now, Smeshka is up next then. Subtlety versus Assassination. I actually think Subtlety on Assass. I think Assassination, with all cooldowns, evenly matched rogues, I think Assassin could actually win that 1v1 matchup. Sitting down for some food. He's going to have to be very, very light snack, and it's going to have to be a very, very quick bite. He does go for a re-stealth. That's perfect. This Smeshka could have ran on top of him. He assumed that he's roaming, and he ended up getting the opener. Azrael is still walking into this without a trinket. So he's still walking into a lion's den. If the Smeshka does not go for cooldowns, this would be perfect. Does go for a weapon dagger throw to put a slow on him, but full lockdown by the Smeshka with a cheap shot right after. Azrael barely survives it into a blind into the Smeshka. Az is looking for a full reset. At least he won't be getting hit with stuns. The Smeshka also popped an evasion actually. So that's actually not great for him. But if he goes in for another cheap shot go, he's going to be in trouble. But the fact is, he actually did not try to find him. I actually thought this was an opportunity for the Smeshka to really push the offensive, but I don't think he wants to give up a trinket versus Azrael. He's trying to see if he can save it for whoever's going to be next. So for Azrael, this is a winning chance. This is his opportunity. The tables have shifted. The cards are now more in his favor. He doesn't have a complete escape plan to victory. He doesn't have a golden brick road laid out for him. There's no red carpet. It's going to be a tough match, but at least he's got everything he needs. Trinket, evasion, no blind unfortunately. He's got death mark. He's got ourselves Kingsbane, so he's got everything. The Smeshka has a trinket so he can counter, but he doesn't have an evasion to follow up. So Azrael will have that up his sleeve. Vanishes are available for both rogues. Sap, and unfortunately Azrael may have to go for a trinket here super aggressively. Does go for the trinket. Gouge. The Smeshka can now respond with a trinket of his own if he wants to. Vanish out for Azrael to land the cheap shot. Landing all the dots. Trinket out for the Smeshka with a blind. He won't be able to go for a proper stun because it's going to be very hard. Is going to go for a vanish. Sap to follow. Just waiting for Azrael to get out of combat. Still not going to be able to go for a cheap shot. It is a complete reset. Neither of the rogues has a trinket. That's going to be cheap shot opener by Azrael. Immediate dots are in. Cheap shot to reverse it for Smeshka. Dots himself an evasion at the very least. So as soon as the cheap shot streak is gone, he's going to be able to make something happen. Disarm for Smeshka. This way Azrael needs to make the most damage happen. Kingsbane is in play. Gouge for a second. The dots are still on him. The Smeshka with advantage. You just gotta live this a little bit longer. Trying to see if he can end Azrael. Azrael does go down with a coup de grace. Trying to see if he can step around him. Immediate gouges. Adaby looking to finish off the Smeshka. Dots of a trinket is gonna reverse it. Nothing that the Smeshka can do in that situation. With Adaby landing a couple of those eviscerates back to back. Well done. Well done. Holy. And Adaby unfortunately has to go up versus Rick, and he just burned a trinket versus the other rogue. So Adaby now is in a rough spot. Pet is already chasing after him. Rick more or less has an idea where the rogue is at. The pet is giving it away completely. And unfortunately, that pet is going to start getting those autos from, I was going to say behind the pillar, but more platform than anything, isn't it? Not necessarily a pillar. What are you doing out here? Curdy, what are you doing? Are you resin? Don't resin, man. Res Leo. Okay, I guess Leo, if you want to just hang out and chill, that's fine. But as long as you don't actually rush in there. Cloak Shadows for Adaby, avoiding that port by the Warlock. Immediate port for Rick to try to get himself in a position. Adaby chasing, but it's going to be yet another gateway. There's going to be a did I say another gateway? I guess I still have that gateway in my mind from the last match, don't I? But it's going to be his first gateway. But an expected gateway. Yeah, there goes another gateway. Now I can say another gateway. And now it's correct. Axtos to stop the cheap shots by Adaby. Does Adaby still have another stun? Because he's got evasion. He's got to make sure he's facing those pets so at least he can dodge some of those melee attacks. Shadow Bolt's out by Rick. Vanish is available. Rick does have a Tyrant. That's a lot of its pets, so Adaby's able to dodge a lot of the damage. Question is, does Adaby have a follow-up here? Because Rick is going to have the Axos, AoE Fear, Mortal Coil, so he's got to find a way to get past any of those abilities. I don't know how you do it. Maybe like cheap shot on the pet, kidney shot onto Rick, maybe, possibly. Maybe that is the play. And you step before he can even send a Mortal Coil in. That would be tough. That won't be easy. Won't be easy at all. Maybe you can still pull it off. Like Sapper to Rick. Nah, he picked up ice. He's going to be able to know exactly where he's at. And the pet is always going to be able to get that opener. Yeah, making sure he got himself max range. Staying away from that shadow step. Immediate evasion. Adaby has a trinket. Adaby does have a trinket. Smoke bomb. Mortal Coil. He's fine. He's not going to take too much damage. Axtos, unfortunately, is going to put him in a rough spot. Does go for a trinket and goes defensive play behind the pillar, but it's going to be another Tyrant. Oh, that actually might have been a misplay. Him running away instead of running at Rick might have been the misplay. This might have been potentially what cost him the duel here. Very, very possible. Taking additional damage from the Tyrant is also another play. He can't really poke around an angle because he knows Rick is just going to pelt him. Maybe he could just kind of, I don't know, do something, anything. He's going to have to get CC on the pet. I think getting a shot on the main pet, cheap shots onto Rick, that's about all you can do. And then you got blades, you got everything. Cloak of Shadows is available, so you can use that as a follow-up. I think you may need to cloak immediately. Rick is trying to predict or Adaby charging him, but it's going to be more pets. The longer this duel goes on, he's trying to see if he can wait out for 4 more seconds. 3 seconds, 2 seconds on a vanish. 1 second, I think he's going to have to use the vanish. And he uses himself a full reset. Eyes are not available on either side, so that's going to be a breather for the rogue. Rick is perfectly fine, perfectly content. He's got every defensive, and he's got a Tyrant cooking in the background. So for Adaby, maybe he can sit down for some food, potentially. I think that's what he has to do. He has to risk it. Sit down for food and immediate stealth. And hope for the best. That's all he can do. As soon as Rick turns away in the other direction, he's got to just sit down and food and hope that he doesn't find him. That's all you can do in that situation. You have to. You have to. If he doesn't, there's no recovery. He does have evasion. He does have a cloak. Shadow Blades is available, so maybe he just pops in a Cloak of Shadows to deny any immediate CC out of Rick in the opener. Maybe he just like saves it until a second later. Unfortunately, he's going to get hit with an Axos immediately. First aid is in place, so at least he's getting himself a bit of the recovery. Rick was not able to really mobilize the pet fast enough. Eyes are not available on either side. Sap on him. He's going to have to go, I think, for a stun on the pet and then kid a shot onto Rick. That's about all he can do. AoE Fear. AoE Fear out of Rick. AoE Fear a little bit early. He banked it a little too early with a gateway right after. He knows the rogue is chasing after him. Kidney shot with an Axos, that is a trade. That kidney shot, however, lasts a little bit longer. Adaby could go for a cloak if he wants to. He doesn't go for the cloak. I think he should have cloaked. I think he definitely should have cloaked. And Rick is just going to run him out as far as possible. He has another step, but Rick has a port again. He's going to be at another cheap shot, trying to see if he can get his pets up and running. Evasion is a play. That's good. You need to be using evasion aggressively. No kick out for the rogue just yet. Maybe Cloak of Shadows. Does go for the cloak, but it still gets sent. He used the cloak a little bit late. Does go for the meld at the very least. Rick has a trinket. He doesn't have a dark pack. He has a wall in case he needs to. I think Rick just burned through all his defenses, or CC, so I think you got to get in there. You have to get in there. I think you have to get in there. You have a trinket, so I think you just, at this point, Axos is back, I think. I think Axos is back by this point. But I think that's all he could do. Sap with the pet, unfortunately, does nothing because the pet is going to break that sap immediately. As soon as you do damage to Rick, that breaks him insta. Trinket, and it's going to be probably AoE Fear. Mortal Coil. Rick just burned a trinket. I don't know what else he could really do. I don't know what he could do in this situation. He got a vanish. Hold on, he got a vanish. He's got one more vanish. He's got an out. Does Rick commit a Tyrant? He committed a Tyrant. I don't think you fight that. I don't think you fight that. He's trying to see if he can chop him up. Actually, huge coup de grace. He still has a vanish. He might just try to use it defensively. Vanish defensively. I think you get back in there. I don't think the Axos is available. I don't think any other CC is available. The Tyrant is still in play, but I think you have to get in. Unless you wait until Blades. But then you don't have a cloak. You don't have any cover. You don't have anything for the CC. You do have Blades. Maybe he'll be banking up on those Blades. I don't know if he's got a smoke bomb. Gouge him. And the pet is going to Axe toss him with a Fear right after. Rick risks gaining as much distance as possible. Adaby will not be able to close the gap all that easily. I think he has to try, but he's going to be behind the pillar. I don't know, step to one of the imps and rush over. That's all you can do because you're just going to get barraged by the simps. Smoke bomb is available. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. That's so rough. That is so rough. Like, the entire time I'm thinking of it from a rogue perspective of what can you do in this situation to try to give yourself a fighting chance, and that's all I could come up with. Maybe a smoke bomb, lock him down, and then have a go. Him committing a coup de grace where the Tyrant was in play was risky, but that coup de grace did do a lot of damage. I think that helped him out tremendously. Takifsha, I don't even know. Taki is going to be up next. And last one on the team, as we head in that closer to 14% or 14-minute mark, Ray of Frost onto Rick. He's going to have to wall this. That Ray of Frost actually did a lot. So Taki can find himself another angle like that, ideally without a pet attacking him. Then he'll be golden. He'll be in the best opportunity possible. Axe toss on Taki. He does go for a trinket. Port out for Rick immediately. Taki just needs a good angle. Does he just go for Ray of Frost? Technically, as long as he has line of sight. And as long as there's no axe toss to stop him. Ray of Frost, do you have a stop? Do you have a stop? Rick needs something? Hold on, Rick might just die. Rick died through the Ray of Frost. Oh my god. That is crazy. Curdy is just going to massive spell and fear him. Taki, unfortunately, you can't really do much. But that Ray of Frost did do a lot, bud. It really did do a lot. Man. Wait, shouldn't Rick be up here? Yeah, well, where's Rick? Did Rick only get one? I felt like Rick played for a while, but that rogue, I guess, gave him the run for the money, huh? Oh my god. I didn't realize it was that even. I swear, I feel like somebody got a couple of kills there, right? Alrighty, let me know if you guys are good to go for another, or if you need my help with the groups. I think it's 189. It is 189. Johnny's ready. Azrael, let me know if you're ready, and we'll send another one. These are really fun. Ready? Okay. We'll set it to... We've never done a Toveron. Let's do a Toveron. Yeah. Toveron is a good map. I also want to do a Blackroot Hold. I like Blackroot Hold a lot. Leo Res? I hear res him, I think, just so you can hang out with the boys. Chill. Get a good angle. The Eagle was I got from the group. I was doing 10k DPS behind 3rd DPS. Makes you wonder what that... Tell me it was an evoker, right? Did you post it? Oh, man. Yeah, I see. That's really not bad. Huh. I've seen people play Arms Warrior a lot, but I've also seen Arms Warrior do very little damage. Are they just there for like the damage buff, for like the group buff? Because maybe this is buff is why BM and the Red Pal are doing like 130. And then why you're doing more damage. Is that why people bring Warriors? It's like, well, they don't really do a lot of damage, but 5% auto attack power. Kinda good. Kinda good. Which? Arms is all AoE, so they just do AoE but no single target. Their AoE is insane. Got it. It's just for the groups. Well, at least they have a purpose, right? Takisha is gonna be up first versus Rick. Oh man, the rematch. Are they really gonna send Rick again? Takisha did. Taki. I'll call him Taki because it's technically a Takisha, but I don't know if I keep arranging the name as Takisha. How in the world did the Felguard find you? Was it just complete random chance? You just sent him in a random direction and just had him blade spin? He's gonna try to go for another Viz, unless he sees the pet. Hold on, does he see? He totally sees the pet! He totally sees the water elemental! That's why he was able to curse and hit 2 people with a curse. 100%! What in the world? No shot, right? That's so weird! I guess the water elemental doesn't get invis buffs? Or is it maybe just that water elemental that looks like, you know, like a frost elemental? Like a more like a shaman elemental looking thing? They really gotta add more water elementals. They're adding like a blood water elemental, like a blood elemental instead. I think that'd be kind of sick. Imagine you're playing like a mage, night elf, or like a dark ranger type of look, right? And you get yourself like vampiric mog and a blood elemental next to you as a mage. That would be sick, man. That would be so cool. If only they could also add the glyph. And they are going to be doing like a whole glyph overhaul soon. But imagine instead of like frostbolts, you're shooting out like, instead of like frozen water as a frost shard, it's like red, like frozen blood. That would be sick, dude. Ray of Frost with like tinge of blood. That would look so good. Blood elemental as a mop. That's the weird thing too. They've added that thing in Mists of Pandaria, where that thing was never in Mists of Pandaria back in the day. But then it's like for retail, they wouldn't even give you a blood elemental, which would be so fun. What in the world? It makes no sense. And did you see that actually? They even are doing whole class reworks in that one special realm for the, what is it? The, that unique like reforged realm for Wrath of Lich King. They completely reworking Destruction of how that plays. I am so surprised they're doing all these class reworks, and then at midnight we got some classes that are like, well, this thing feels underbaked. But cool. Thanks, boys. I think Taki just tried to see if he can get himself a reset behind the pillar. That's all he could do. That's a lot of pets. Does give himself an abyss. Maybe that's exactly what he's going for. Actually, I think what Taki could probably do is he could maybe position his water elemental in a weird different spot, because it looks like Rick always AoEs that pet and it always somehow gets Taki out in the open. So if he can get himself a better angle and like put the pet away, he'll attack the pet and it doesn't AoE attack each at all. Rick, unfortunately, is going to be able to get Tak low enough where he sends any more pets. Big Overlord charging in is going to get a slam around the pillar. Tak so far has not been able to make an approach here whatsoever. Went in for a block for a second. I think tried to go for a bit of an invis, but unless he's got cooldowns, I think it's just over. He's just rushing in with whatever else he's got, just throwing whatever it can stick. But a Mortal Coil with a big blast owl for Rick, there's just nothing you can really do in that situation. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. That man just needed one big ray of frost, but I don't think he ever could. What is this random AoE fear? Did Azrael go for a sap on the Felguard? And that's how Rick knew that he was nearby. Or did he just randomly fear? It also split the soul away from Azrael, sending him out into back behind the pillar. Az does go for a reset, but he's still got a lot of dots. So you would imagine you would want to just close the gap and engage. But he's actually going to go for a complete reset, unfortunately. And that's what I really don't like about Assassination. I wish you could go even more bleed heavy, so you could put a big bleeds, a death mark, and walk away and the watch people melt. Blizzard has kind of reshuffled Assassination to be more of like, hey, we want you to stand next to the guy and keep stabbing at him while the venom is running, while the bleeds are rolling. That's where you get a lot of your big value damage. You can definitely go for bleed build. You can definitely make bleeds a little stronger, but can't make them as powerful as they used to be in previous expansions, where you're just like bleed, shiv, vanish, and the other guy would go from like 80% health down to 0. That was nutty. Kulka Road out, does silence Rick for a second. Azrael just needs to get back over there, land a full kidney shot if possible. He's gonna go for a vanish. He's using a lot of those like diving rogue strats, just diving back into stealth to see if he can keep on Rick. Rick is gonna go for the gate, super good for Az, but I think at this point Rick probably has a couple of defenses available. Is gonna go for the fear as he trinkets out of the, no, he doesn't trinket out of the garrote. I guess it was a very, very short garrote. Wall is available, so for Az, this is a Kingsbane. Actually, I think if you just keep pushing on, he might be okay. There's a full Tyrant. Not the worst for Az. He built up a decent bit of damage. He just sees a couple more dot damage, a bit more poison. Rick was taking a decent bit of output, but he does go for a full Warlock Hellstone to get himself a reset. Azrael will need to use whatever he can just to get back over there to him. He just needs to keep building call points so he can land a kidney shot onto Rick the next time he has a gun. Does get himself a garrote either way. And actually gets a Sounds garrote too. Was that a melt? Was that a vanish? How did he get himself a full Sounds garrote? Or did they, no way they changed it. With a kidney shot, I think Az does take it though. I think he does take it. Rick barely hanging on, trying to see if he can just get above that 10% health. Just over the hump with that health. Az trying to see if he can get himself a better position here, but he's not in an amazing spot. Evasion just to dodge these pets. Continues to build calm points off of him. Just needs to get back over to Rick. One more shot, one more hit. I don't know if Rick's got a port or anything. Az is eventually going to be able to wait out that slow. At some point, I think you just need to catch up to him. Does get himself a re-stealth. I think you gotta get back in there. He ported so early. Zap. He knows the pet is gonna attack him. You gotta cheap shot the pet. Garrote him. He does the opposite. Trinketed. Garrote. Just needs a bit more dots. Just a little bit more dots. Just a little bit more. Yet another garrote. Isn't enough though. Isn't enough. Rick's health is dropping. Does get him some Warlock Hellstone with a port. Cloak shot is available for the rogue. I think you just cloak and just go for it. Right. Vanish is available. Rick summoning up even more pets. Fear onto Azrael. If he cloaks, he might be okay. If he cloaks, he might be okay. He just needs to get on top of Rick for a second. That is going to be a Tyrant. He's still holding on to Cloak. Cheap shot, unfortunately, doesn't connect. Does he have the Shadow Step? Just trying to close the gap. Yet this gets a garrote, and that's going to be Rick going down. Azrael taking down Rick. Oh, but with Curdy immediately rushing him down, he's not going to give him a breather. Trinket immediately for Curdy. You can at least throw a couple of daggers at him to pop that crippling poison onto Curdy. So he's going to have a hard time catching up to him. Azrael might be able to catch a reset. I am amazed Azrael just kept with it. I'm amazed he just gritted his teeth. The resolve of steel and iron to just continue fighting what looks like an unwinnable match. Azrael is going to go for a bit of dot damage on the Curdy. He's just looking to rot him a little bit. And look at that, the bleeds aren't terrible. Finally, others get a chance to play. How many vanishes rogues have? Two. Both are in 2-minute cooldown. So vanishes are, there's 2 of them. And also you do have a 2-minute cooldown. Yeah, feels like I have no CD on vanish. 2 vanishes, 2-minute cooldown, and you also have shadow meld. So like that's not really vanish. As long as you can catch yourself an escape, you can catch a re-stealth. So that sometimes can be very, very difficult. And when you do vanish or stealth, you do have shadow subterfuge for a bit, where you can have access to stealth abilities for like 6 seconds. or longer by this point. I actually think they give us new talents at some point in War Within, so you could like extend the duration you're in stealth mode. So it helps a little bit. So like those Garrotes, they can just get you chaining. Cheap shot. Curdy's gonna have to take a little bit of damage. Azrael with a Garrote to fall off the cheap shot. Dots are in. You just go for a Kingsbane. Gouge to follow before the fear comes through. That's gonna be Curdy trying to see if he can knock him down. Get a shot right after. You just Kingsbane? No. He's just gonna let the dots, let the bleeds do it. Curdy has to go for a disperse. He's trying to see if he can stabilize here. His shields continue to pop. Deathmark still ripping right through him. The bleeds are doing a number. Trying to go for whatever healing he can. And with a PI, I don't know if he... I guess he's just trying to make sure he can stabilize. Azrael does have Kingsbane, he does have Cloak, he does have everything. So actually using the duel versus Curdy, he's able to use it if he can survive Curdy just fine. He's able to just use Curdy in a sense as like a way for him to fight Curdy, but also to regain the cooldowns for the next competitor. Especially if you can go for those hit and runs with Curdy. As a Shadow Priest, you can only do so much against a Rogue. You get locked down with a Garrote, the Rogue goes behind the pillar. You can't really chase, you can't stay on him. Does burn a Cloak of Shadows. So Curdy is actually, it looks like Azrael is trying to go for the kill here. Curdy, I don't know if you got a fear or anything. He's got a fear very, very soon. Kidney shot, does go for a trinket, blind to follow. Azrael trying to see if he can back up out of there for a second. He's taking a decent bit of damage. He doesn't want to get locked out by Curdy. If fear can potentially give Curdy a chance here. Azrael does not have a trinket. He does have a vanish. He doesn't have major cooldowns. I don't really know what Curdy can do in this situation. He knows that the rogue is going to open up on him. Fade for a second. Fear right after. Gives Curdy an opportunity. Void form is available. Azrael with a cheap shot. Does he have enough? Curdy, I don't know why your pet is not attacking him. Garrote to follow. I think Azrael does potentially take it. That Garrote might seal the deal. Gouge for a moment. Kidney shot to follow. He's just rotating all the CC. But I think the Shadow Priest does take it. Oh, Shadow Word Death though. No, Shadow Word Death! Oh, it splashed back at him, and I think it actually helped him go down. Azrael, I think we're just throwing daggers, letting the bleeds do it, and Shadow Word Death was not able to finish off Az, and it bit him back, getting him so low. And Azrael, some way, somehow, escapes it. I keep saying it again and again. Rogues get away with some of the nuttiest things I've ever seen. How? No other class gets away with murder like that, but Rogue, man. But Rogue. Am I right or am I right, boys? Like, what in the world? Don't get me wrong, I like Rogue. It's my favorite class. This is my main. But you gotta be honest here. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's any other class out there that could just pull that off and just live. And he's actually just eating. Especially because literally on top of him. Azrael did not put down the bun. Still holding on to it. Zbershka is eventually gonna find him, I think. But Azrael, he is looking kind of healthy, actually. Trinket, evasion, he's got everything to work with, actually. Kamikaze praise. You kind of have to, man. I think until he couldn't do anything else. He's got to try to see if he can finish him off. He's bled up. It's only a matter of time until he goes down. He just got to do something. That's all he's got to do. Look, it's not me that made Shadow Word Death bite back and Shadow Breaks like that, okay? That's how Blizzard did it. They decided for some reason that if it doesn't kill the target, it'll just bite you back. I think the idea was supposed to be that it's a strong hit, but it'll hit you pretty hard. And I think that's how they were to balance it, but in PvP, actually I think it contributed to the death of Curdy. It is going to be vanished out of Azrael immediately before Zbershka even has a chance to go for a trinket. So Az just goes in for bleeds, putting Zbershka out in the open, lowering down his health little by little. At 57% dampening, whatever self-healing those rogues have is not going to be nearly as good. So this gives Azrael an opportunity to have himself a proper go. Kidney shot off of that trinket. I don't know if he just goes for a full reset. He does go for a full reset. Blind. Unless Azrael wants to find a way to fight this. Trying to go for a sap. He's trying to land maximum control in this situation. I don't know if he'll be able to. I don't think that cheap shot is going to come back soon enough. That's the out of the sap. That's all you can do. Garrote with an evasion. Try to see if he can land Zbershka a cheap shot. Zbershka still gets one either way. Zbershka does go for another cheap shot. Evasion is available for him. As all he can do is build calm points and keep dots on Zbershka. And I think he's still able to do so. I think he's able to keep dots on him. For Azrael, I think it's just victory here. He goes in, cheap shot, full dots, full damage. Garrote, Kingsbane. I think he wins this. Maybe Zbershka can cloak the Kingsbane, but the bleeds are still going to do a lot. Yeah, Kingsbane, kidney shot. It's over. It is over. Azrael gets away with another one. Actually just keeps getting away with it. Is it the Feral? Because the Feral's hanging out on the far side now. It is the Feral. It is going to be the Feral. It is going to be the Feral Druid. Unfortunately, Azrael did end up using quite a few cooldowns versus the Rogue. He won't be able to go for the Deathmark evasion shenanigans versus Emoshka. And I don't think the rogue actually wants to go out here out in the open. I actually think for ONYXIA, this duel is going to be worse for you if you wait dampening out. Like, the longer you wait, the less healing you're going to be able to get. So I actually think it might be better for you to pick up the eyes. There's still one on the far side. I actually think that might be a better choice. Azrael, I think he's gonna be fine waiting the whole, what, a minute that he needs for things to come back. So he's perfectly fine. I really do think it's gonna be worse for ONYXIA because he won't be able to respond as easily. His bark skin and wall are not going to be able to give him as big of a shield. And his healing is also going to be further reduced as we're heading into 68% dampening, man. Yeah, I think it's just going to be one of those games. For ONYXIA, he does decide to hold his ground back against the wall. I think he's like, you know what? The rogue is going to go with everything at me. And he's probably going to try to see if he can all-in the rogue as well. It's going to be an all-in versus all-in angle, I think. ONYXIA is going to probably have to rotate defenses super early. Potentially even use a wall if Azrael goes in for like full defensives. Like every single defensive out there. He may just have to. I don't think Leo just gotta walk it over just to get a better angle. Potentially. I think he is. Yeah, I think he is. I'm actually surprised you can still stay in that pangolin form in like arenas. I was sure the Blizzard would like disable it by this point. Opener by Azrael does get hit with the bash. It's going to be a trinket for one, trinket for the other. Evasion, not for the rogue, but it's actually going to be a blind. Is he going to try to go for a reset? Smoke bomb, try to catch a re-stealth. Does get the sap. ONYXIA without a trinket. Hold on. Azrael might have put himself in a winnable position. I don't know if he can land another sap. Now the Feral does not have a stun unless he goes in for a maim. Garrote is going to be able to get himself an opener. Evasion is in play. ONYXIA trying to see if he can escape. That's going to be stepped by the rogue. Try to see if he can go for Ursos. Will not be able to stay on Ursos. Cheap shot. That's going to be death mark and everything is available. ONYXIA with a bar skin isn't enough though. He's trying to go for a wall. Getting shot by Azrael. Azrael is able to escape. Vanish to follow. I don't know if he's got blades. ONYXIA does not have a way to heal right now. He just does not have a lot of ways to heal. He can still dot him up. The rogue, I think, does take him with the blades though. He's almost enough. Oh, close. Oh! And ONYXIA try to see if he can go for one last go. Leo's immediately there waiting for the rogue. Unfortunately, he does put himself in a position where he can immediately stun rogue and go for him. I don't think Azrael can do much to escape. Unless he... Unless he just escapes from the gouge. There's no shot he escapes from the gouge, right? And a kidney shot. There's no shot, right? Yeah. Here, look at the damage into Leo before he went out, though. Oh my god. Yo, Azrael is scary. Oh man, 1 minute of invisible sitting. Friends, hello. Chill, минутов инвизисити. Друзья, алло. Yeah, I feel you. Да. Да, это было долго. Но я сказал Фералу, что будет ждать и не знаю, если может. Я сказал ему. Breath into a meteor. Leo is dead. Leo's just dead. Block out for his yours. He has no health. It is over. Dampening so high, there's no way to recover. And the rogue does fight to pick up 4. Not only did it fight the Rick, which is not an easy competitor, even with the Feral, I feel like the dampening definitely helped out in that regard. Right? The all-in versus all-in strat, the rogue wins that, unfortunately. Alrighty, boys. Let's get ourselves another one in here. I think we're at the 190 mark at this point, correct? Correct. As it pretty good, man. I know Tenkaki has a pangolin now. Yeah, definitely. Azures and Johnny. What elemental is sucked in? Let me get a reset on it. Did it actually? That's so unfortunate, man. It happens though. Johnny says he's ready. Azures, let me know if you're ready. We'll send it. Wait, no, not Azures. Azrael. That's her. Let me know when you guys are good. Ready? Wait, is that Azures or is that Az? I'm assuming you guys are ready because you guys should be on the same team. If not Tolveron, I guess we'll do Hook Rook. Or the Rook. I see the Chinese Reforged server that they gave Sub-Rogue their own legendary, and they have a chain lava burst that doesn't require flame shock or anything to use. I wasn't aware of that. Well, no, I did see something about a rogue legendary just because other classes had legendaries but rogues didn't. And to buff up rogues, they gave him a Lego. Hello everyone, what's up, Gronzil? How you doing, my guy? Hope you're having a good one. Yeah, I did see that a while ago. Only thing I noticed with that realm is the fact that they're reworking Destro Warlocks completely. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, what? You could just send out like a bunch of meteors now? Green meteors flying in at every target? Kind of sick. Pangolin when Walker Monk is funny when using Flurry Strike. This feels like animation with Pango. Does it? I don't think I've seen it. Or if I have, I don't remember. Either way, do not recall. But I'll have to see it sometime. I'm sure I will. Moonwalker seems to be kind of a popular spec for Twitch, at least for PvP. It's not bad for raids either, I guess. Got ourselves Azrael, the Slayer himself, that absolutely popped off last game. We got ourselves Adaby, we got ourselves Insane, together with Taki as well as Azures. We got ourselves Emochka. Is he gonna be first up? No. Looks like Leo. At least looks like he's rearing to go. First up, we got in the back this Smushka, Rick on that team, as well as your boy Curdy. Where's Leo at? Sap immediately is going to be insane. The Rogue versus Death Knight. Rogues are actually really good at this matchup. Leo's playing into a Frost here, so he's kind of have to be very careful. He can lock the Rogue down with the Dragon. Try to be very careful. Full burst out for Insane is going to go for a Cloak of Shadows with a Trinket. Kidney shot onto Leo, who is going to break out of the IBF. Insane can still deal with his damage, even a little vanish out. Try to see if he can escape. Is Insane not playing the double Vanish build anymore? I thought he was playing the double Vanish build. Try to see if he can grapple around. Actually, somehow avoiding the Death and Decay while midair. I honestly thought, even though you're like right above it, it will still hit him. As Leo just tried to see if he can escape away from Insane, locking him down with slows into a blind. Insane finally breaks out of it, but it's going to be immediate root right after. And Leo just still trying to see if he can get himself out of that situation. Went into cooldowns and back up. Unfortunately, kidney shot. Is that going to be lights? He doesn't have an out. I think it might be over. If the Rogue gives himself another proc, Leo trying to go for Death Strikes, whatever he can, whatever helps him live. He is barely surviving AMS. Unfortunately, it doesn't really stop a lot of the Rogue damage. This is primarily majority physical. This has got like a trinket or maybe like a damage effect on a weapon, but those don't really exist as much anymore. Pretty sure it's all stats nowadays. Big Reaper side does get the Rogue. Oh my. Trying to see if he can escape the Reaper, but Leo does end up taking him out. Leo playing into that proc Death Pact. I actually think that Death Pact could put him in a rough spot. Because if you ever get low, it will proc, it'll give you more health, but then you can't heal. What if you go for like a big heal strain, right? That's going to be a bit tough. Bro, it is bursty, Frost Death Knight. Very bursty. Who's up next? I think they're still trying to figure it out. It looks like it is going to be Adaby. Maybe. It looks like, yep, possibly Adaby. Leo is back behind the pillar, waiting. I think he's trying to figure out who it is. It is going to be a Rogue. It is going to be a Rogue, unfortunately. Death and Decay on one side. Leo does not play with the normal trinket. He only plays with the human racial, so you can break out of stuns. But that's really about it. If I had the Force set? Yeah, Force. At least the true set, right? Because the true set is where you get the majority of the damage without Blade Brush, but the Force set is kind of nice. Damage increase, shorter cooldown. It is very nice. Adaby, unfortunately, is going to end up cleaving down Emochka. Nothing you can do about it. Trickster just naturally cleaves things around you, even if you don't do anything special about it. It is going to be a disarm. Leo trying to see if we can back up out of it. Does still have to technically a full burst. Adaby trinket at something. Stun as soon as Rogue goes for a step. What a stun lineup. Trying to see if we cleave him down. Adaby, oh my. What a stun. I don't know how he landed that stun off of that step, but he does end up landing it. What in the world? I can't believe it. From one Rogue into the next. Trying to see if there's another stealthy. It is not Azrael in there. It is not Az. They're waiting to find out who it is. Is it Taki? They were looking at each other, kind of. Sorta. Yeah, it looks like it is Azure's. My god, dude. The Frost Death Knight. The lockdown out of left field. The burst. It is so good. It is very powerful. Azure's trying to see if he can go for a breath. Big meteor down. Got himself combust. This is where, yeah. This is where, wait, you're playing a different build. You're not playing the Phoenix, are you? I'm not seeing a Phoenix Axiom. Not seeing a Phoenix, but I am seeing a couple of those glacial spikes in there. So he is playing into the Frostfire build. Or not, maybe? It's hard to tell. Next time I see your shield, if I see a little bit of frost on that thing, then I'll know for sure. So hard to tell. Does go for invis for a second with that meld. That is a silence for a moment. A proper invis out for Azure's. Try to see if he can escape. That is going to be some big obliterates do connect. Azure's trying to see if he can back up out of it. There goes the block. Now, he has got to be Frostfire, right? He's got to be. Gotta be, man, right? GG, nice one. GG, boys. GG. GG, Magmaro. Frostfire? Okay, he is a Frostfire. He is a Frostfire. Yeah. He's got himself a bit of that shielding stun out for Leo. Gripping him back in front of him. Does he have a blink? Does he have anything? Does have an ultra with an invis trying to see if he can escape. Yet another grip catches him with yet another side sweeping right through him. Cauterwise is proccing. Glacials are firing. Trying to see if he can get himself an angle. Pyroblast is not enough. Silence, and Leo does pick up a third. That silence at the end. He literally can't heal at that point with a death pack. You just literally a cheat death for him at this point. Just a little bit extra borrowed health. He used it 3 times so far. He used it actually 3 times. He's trying to see if he can get a better angle. Taki, unfortunately, he just needs himself a one up. I guess you don't really need the frost orb, but he definitely did get sent in a random direction though. Is it going after Curdy? Is it homing in on him? I think it might be. Or is it going after Leo? I think it actually was still trying to aim for Leo's body there. Taki does get hit with a fear into another racial to break out of immediately. Spike as Skirty does go for a silence. This is a better matchup for Skirty. Skirty normally doesn't really do super well against melee, but with this is not bad. Ray of Frost is doing a bunch of damage. Mind Games does lock him out on Holy. So actually, that's Curdy's limited amount of healing he could do is going to go for full rift. And I feel like for Taka, unless he can get himself the kill with the Ray of Frost, ain't happening. Curdy just sends everything at him with Azrael as the last one left over on the team. We're only in the 5-minute mark, so Az is a lot to get through. Against Curdy, fortunately, it is going to be one of the better matchup. He is going to go for this burst. 26% dampening should still give Curdy an opportunity to respond and do something in this type of situation. Azrael has himself Kingsbane, or use Kingsbane rather. Still has a death mark, so you may, I don't know if he goes for a death mark here. I think he might, ideally I think he may have to go for death mark to make sure he can get himself a guaranteed kill onto Curdy, especially with Az not having a trinket anymore. But ideally he'd want to have like a death mark on whoever's next, right? After him it's going to be Nismushka. Locking down the Rogue with full bleeds would be amazing. Feral Druid and Mushka would be the same. Rickmeister would definitely be the same, right? So the question is, would you be able to, he goes in for death mark. He's going to have to wait it out until they back up later. He's going to have to be very, very measured with his cooldowns. Try to see if he can go for a little bit of hit and run, letting the bleeds do work. Landing a kick onto Curdy on Holy, but still gives him access to shadow spells. Try to go for a couple of heals. Mind Games, maybe recover just a little bit of health. Does get a decent bit of health out of it, actually. With a couple of those flash heals, keeping him afloat. Cloak of Shadows for Az. He's committed everything. Curdy, he doesn't have much of an option here. Maybe he can go for a heal, but that's really about it. And it is going to be Nismushka. Try to see if he can get himself that opener. Az, if he doesn't have any dots on him, he does get himself an escape. They're so close to each other. Both rogues are neck to neck, literally rubbing shoulders with one another. Eyes picked up by Nismushka. And Az trying to see if he can get himself a better angle here. He does see him. Sap is going to be his. Az does not have a trinket for 30 seconds. So if Nismushka wanted to, he could just go for a trinket and just end this duel right here. He's going to go for a trinket. And he's going to try to see if he can end this duel right here. As long as he's airtight with his stunts, he might be able to make it happen. Blind Az does survive. Smoke bomb, maybe this gives him enough to get into stealth. No, blind, but Nismushka, both rogues are out of combat, but Nismushka is going to be able to get that sap immediately, unless he just doesn't. Was Az still in combat somehow with a blind? Gonna like auto attack him as he hit him with a blind, maybe? Like auto attack and then blind right after? Maybe? Because I feel like Nismushka would have landed a sap if he could. I think he was spamming it, but I don't think it was going off. Something must have happened there. Something must have happened. Unless the smoke bomb was still up, which I don't think it was, but maybe I just didn't notice it. Az is trying to get himself a better angle here. He does have a trinket back up, so at least there's something he could work with. Nismushka is in a position where... actually kind of a vulnerable position. When you think about it, without a trinket, without an evasion, if he gets locked down, it's over. He could be in a very, very rough spot. Az is looking for him. They're right next to each other. They don't even realize it. Phantom Knights catches him, step immediately with a cheap shot, trying to make sure he gets himself that opener. Is going to go for the Kinder shot. Death mark, everything is available. Nismushka is going to be rotting out. That's going to be a restyle by Azrael. But Nismushka is rotting. There's nothing he can do about it. All Azrael is going to do is wait out for Nismushka. I think he might just bleed out completely. He's going to go for advantage. So he's going to soak up some of that dot damage with advantage, giving him a bit of that healing. Smoke bomb down, but Az sees exactly where he's at. Nismushka without a trinket, it might just be light. Cheap shot. He accidentally cheap shotted a Feral Druid. Az Nismushka caught a restealth. Trinket out for Azrael. Disarm for disarm. Ask at least build comp points with a fan of knives. Meld for the Spershka, still gonna get dotted and rotted. Evasion out for Azrael. The Spershka unfortunately can respawn. He can respawn. Wait, he's got blades, he's got sheep shot. He just has to have a go. He just has to have a go. Maybe it's enough. No, it's not enough. Azrael just does not sit on set stone long at all. Vanish to follow to try to get himself a clean escape. Chariot is in play, but the eyes are getting picked up by a Rookmeister. And I think the pets are gonna eventually end up catching up to Azrael. They're definitely gonna end up catching up. Good road to follow, trying to see if he makes some damage happen. Has a Cloak of Shadows, has a Kingsbane, so maybe he can make that Kingsbane do something for him. Meld is also available, so you can always just use Meld and catch yourself a reset. As long as he gets the slow on those pets, he'll be okay. Trying to go for a Meld, does not get himself a clean restealth, unfortunately. Pets were way too close to him. Fear right after, I think Azrael is just caught in a rough spot. He can't even walk up to Rick, he's gonna get ported. It's over, yeah. It's over. That is so rough. Azrael did end up surviving for quite a while. Leo with a burst though. Absolutely amazing. Wiping out these rogues, breaking them in half, man. Frost Death Knights. I feel like in the spec you don't see as much. I feel like there's a lot more Unholy, but a lot of people probably forget just how powerful Frost can be. Warlock shouldn't be able to walk since it has so many ports. Imagine they're just like shackle Warlocks, don't let him walk. They're like, alright, you only have portals. Have fun. Dude, imagine how much worse Warlock mobility was when Shadowlands was an expansion. When they could just Night Fae and run around like in cat form and blink around all over the place. It was crazy. You couldn't catch up to them. They had gate, port, and that. Crazy. Alright, both teams ready. Let me queue you guys up yet again. I think it's 91. Beautiful. Okay, let me send you guys into a Tigers, I guess. Tigers Peak. I'm gonna take the queue and I'm gonna go get myself water real quick. Yeah, I'm thirsty. I really need water. Oh, we're back, I think. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, someone broke my microphone completely. Which? Completely missed whatever happened to Hate, by the way. Wait, hold on. Never mind. I was gonna say, can we rest Hate? Because something happened to my sound. It is completely gone for a second. I'm not sure what happened. I have no idea what happened to Hate. I wish I got to see it, but Leo looks like walked in and Hate's dead. Can somebody give me a run by? Play-by-play? What the hell happened? My bad, boys, my bad. Audio issues. I went in to get myself some water and all of a sudden come back to some audio issues. I don't know what happened, dude. I have no idea what happened. Oh, man. Appreciate you boys for letting me know, though. Zvuk. Another bullet, Nikovarich. I should have said it. Ah, you're good, you're good. You're good, you're good. Did it sound like anything, or was it just no sound at all? My mic cut out of me or something. Burst out into yours. Silence to follow. No stream. No stream. Hold on. What is that? Нет русского, нет стрима, нет русского стрима. Хорошо. Нет русского стрима, тогда нет никакого стрима. Понимаю. Big burst out by Leo. Death Pact. Wait, is Leo running Death Pact? Is just not showing up on like the bars, or is it just like a random proc of Death Pact that he has? I really cannot tell, but he recovered a lot of health. What the hell just healed you, Leo? What in the world is happening? What is this Death Pact that got going on? Wait, is it a Death Pact that heals itself? No. I'm sorry. Azure's trying to see if he can get himself a bit of recovery. Unfortunately, going for a breath, but he got himself AMS to shield him. Shields out for Azure's to deal with the brunt of the burst damage. But unless if he's got himself more cooldowns to work with, Wraith Walk got himself in a position. Silence, Azure's just dead. Unfortunately, the mage does go down with Leo slaying another one. First one I didn't get to watch. Azure's, however, we did get to watch through the audio issues. I don't even know what that was about, boys. Wish I knew. Honestly. Flurry down as Tacky, trying to see if he can get himself some damage. Definitely gonna have to get those Ray of Frost onto Leo. But he's got to be very, very careful when he lands those Ray of Frost. Because he can do a ton of damage with those. It's just all about getting the angle. I wonder if he's gonna go for the Shimmer to make sure that he can like land this Ray of Frost and go behind the pillar. Or if he's just playing normal Blink. Does get a Nova. Or a Freeze rather. With the Orb, and that's quite a decent bit of damage. Like the Orb together with whatever instance you got. Like Leo's actually gonna take a bit of pain from that. Blink out by the mage, got himself an altar with a silence for a second, so he's got himself at least healing. Unfortunately, Rachel does not break out of that silence. He's just got to get himself an ankle. That's a perfect Ray of Frost. That's where Leo knows he can't go behind the pillar. He can't go behind the pillar. He has to stay on him. Maybe just another Ray? No, he's got himself IBF, so he can't get stopped. Glacial, trying to see if he can go for more cast. No kicks available. He's going to go for a grip just to stop the Ray with Obliterate that almost takes out Tacky, but the block does stop it last minute. Hello, Dalaran. How are you? Привет, Dalaran, как дела, здорово, как настроение? Все нормально, сайт, все нормально. Как тебя все? Стрим, играем на дуэли, стримим. Смотрим дуэли. AMS up for Leo. Trying to think of Russian. How do you do small talk anymore, bro? I have no idea. Obliterates come through. Yeah, as soon as the blocks are down for a Frost Mage, since they can't do any recovery, it's over. I really wish I watched what happened to between Leo and Hate, because Leo so far is on a run, and I feel like I missed a good portion of it. Though now it's a chance for Azrael to possibly bring it back for his team. Garrod, disarm onto Leo, trying to see if he can keep the pressure rolling. Blind for a second. Big burst out, and Az with a cloak and evasion, trying to use everything to survive. Leo with the Death Pact. Unfortunately, he can't heal. He's got damage. Unfortunately, the bleeds again catch up with him. Unless it was like a battle master trinket to give him some borrowed health and then they disappeared. I'm not even 100%, but he does go down. With Rick trying to see if he can run for the eyes to fight versus Az. Azrael does have a trinket with a Death Pact and everything, so you can actually, or Death Mark, so you can actually make some damage happen. Garrod does connect. He's going to be a trinket. Try to see if he can keep the Garrods going onto Rick. He's going to go for a fear. No trinket available for Azrael anymore. Does have advantage in case he needs to. Rick is just going to go for CC chain. And Az just going to have to take a lot of the damage from all those pets. Does go for a vanish as the Tyrant comes through. Tyrant knows exactly where you are though. Or does it? Or no, he does not. I thought he was trying to get an angle on him. Honestly, no, it does not. No. Knockback onto Az with a Kidney Shot. Does he just go for a Death Mark? This could be a great opportunity. King's Bane and everything is available. If only Rick. Now, looks like Rick does have some abilities behind up his sleeve. Some more ways in order to create some space between him and Az with a full port. I don't know if Azrael can go for a Shadow Step. Does create a Smoke Bomb. I don't know if he can go for any kind of heals. Sipping up, barely keeping it alive. I don't really know. Does go for the meld. As long as that pet does not Fell Storm. It does Fell Storm. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Az out in the open. Mortal connects. Wait, hold on. It runs you in the direction of line of sight at least, but no, the pets are on you. Yeah, can you shot on one pet? You still have a Demon Doggo on you? No, 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 it's over. That's so rough. Adaby is the last one left over for the team one. Charging at Rick without even giving a second thought into an axe toss. Trinkets it immediately. Maybe just goes for Cloak of Shadows to stop the CC. There's going to be immediate fear. At this point, I feel like if you are going to be committing, maybe just Cloak and just send everything. Wall was used by Rick, by the way. He also does not have a Dark Pact anymore. He's going to try to see if he can send Adaby away, but he's going to go for a port. He's going to go for a port instead. It's like, either you go behind the pillar or I go. One of us got to go. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. I'm all buddy. Good luck. Thank you so much. Go by, Judas. Appreciate you, man. Always fun having you here. Cheap shot to follow. Adaby continuing to sink in. Shadow strikes back to back, building up the damage. Tyrant is still in play. Fear for a second by Rick. as he's giving himself a bit of a breather. Fear to follow up onto Adaby as he's sending out more pets. Mortical to continue that chain CC. I don't know if he can go for an Axe Toss to follow. I think he's probably going to save that Axe Toss next time Adaby goes in for a full stun. Picking up the eye. Kidney shot. Does he have the Axe Toss? He does get it. That pet does send it through the chains. But I think Adaby has more than enough damage here. Yeah, more than enough. Next up is Skirty. Or do they want to send like somebody like Nespershka or Imochka? I guess for Adaby this would be a better matchup, wouldn't it? But for Skirty, I actually think Skirty, this is probably as good of a matchup as it can be for him, because otherwise he would just be playing into high dampening, where Disperse and other healing abilities are just not going to give him any healing whatsoever. So I feel like for Skirty, this is as good of a matchup as it can be, given the situation, given the order of things. 37% dampening, so at least Skirty can do some healing. That's going to be Void Torrent. Adaby does get rooted. He can shut to follow. Skirty can respond. He's going to go for a Fade for a second. Doesn't have a Fear. He could go for a Disperse. Might just have to try to see if he can build up whatever damage he can versus Adaby. Building up quite a decent bit of output. Is going to go for the Disperse. Does give him a little bit of recovery. A blind is going to put him in a rough spot. Unless pets can rush over to Adaby. But unfortunately, the pets don't do any of that. He's at least going to be able to get some catch up here. Adaby landing that sap, still dotted though, and Skirty mounted up, might be able to catch up to Adaby if he can maybe fade and go for a Fear. That or just rush in with the torrent ratio. That could also work if he just goes flat behind the pillar, especially if he knows where Adaby is at. Picking up the eyes most likely. Adaby can sit down for mage food. You do have mages in our team. I don't know if he picked up mana buns or not from last matchup, but for Skirty, he just got to get an angle. That or prepper a fade. He does go in for the dots. No fade there. Trinket Fear. Adaby with a trinket of his own. Root onto him. Skirty does make some space with a fade. Unfortunately, Skirty doesn't really have anything to stop him. It is going to be a high mounted ratio to try to charge away to create some distance, but it is going to be Nespershka chasing after Adaby, who is able to land a kill on the Priest. Yeah, Priest, man. I still think Blizzard needs to do something about Priest in PvP. There has been less Priests. Oh, Shadow Priest in particular. Like, does seem to be doing pretty good. Some Holy here and there. But Shadow, I do hope they do something, because it is unfortunate watching them try their best in 1v1. Like, sometimes they can just play literally the best play they've ever done. I will play the enemy team, and still it's like, well, because you're a priest, you just die. It's not fun. Oh wait, Nespershka just dead. I knew Adaby was going to go for an opener. He didn't have blades. He just got the crits. Oh my god, what is in the world? And Adaby barely took damage from Nespershka. You would think Nespershka, that would be his opportunity to have a go. Since Adaby did not have a trinket, did someone to Adaby, did someone to Nespershka. Adaby is going to be able to get his stuns first before Nespershka. So I think Adaby right now is like in the winning position. Eyes are available for both rogues. Trinket not available for Nespershka or Adaby. Next opener could potentially be the winner. And Adaby might be the guy that potentially sees the deal with Shadow Blades coming back up for the next target. Unless Nespershka lands an opener on him. One set of eyes is in play. Whoever is rogue that picks it up will need to find the other guy and respond immediately. Step, dance, cheap shot in the same global as soon as you see the side of the other rogue. I don't think you can even go for a sap. You just go cheap shot insta. They're right next to each other. It's going to be a sap or a Phantom Knives for one of them. They're right next to each other. They know that they're there. And Adaby landing that sap. Gouge into a kidney shot. Nespershka may just die here. No blades necessary. Oh, coup de grace just drops him. With Imochka, last one left. Adaby, this is your chance to bring it back for your team. I know it's a Feral Druid. I know it's probably the toughest matchup for you out of the whole squad. Maybe like Demonology Warlock would have been pretty tough too, actually. But for Imochka, he's in a position where he's like, you know what, 10 minutes into the match for some 66% dampening, I'm just going to let the Rogue get the opener. Rogue has pretty much everything he needs. Pretty much everything he needs. Bash, insta, trinket, kidney shot. It is going to be a cheap shot to follow. Adaby making sure his CC is airtight. Evasion, so Imochka cannot respond. He already used a stun onto Adaby, so it's going to be heavily DR'd. Imochka, all he can do is bunker down, blind by Adaby. I'm surprised Adaby didn't just want to continue pumping the damage into Imochka. Landing a sap, though. He's going to catch him out of a bear form. Hold on a second. Cheap shot, he's just going in. He doesn't care. He's trying to see if he can end this duel. Is it enough? It's more than enough. Oh, whoa, last second. Imochka pop into count for him. Can you catch a restun? You need a restun right now, immediately, this moment. Maim does connect. Convoke. Is it enough? Does he get the burst? Back-to-back bites. Is it enough? Gouge last second. Adaby trying to see if he can end it and does end up slicing through him. The last little lockdown at the end, and Adaby brings it back. Well done. Well done. I was actually worried when he peeled away. I thought he had the full momentum. I thought he was all good, but that peel away was the play, because then you went for a heal, sap immediately. That was good. That was really, really good. I was wrong to doubt you. I was wrong to doubt that masterful play. Well done, well done. That was, in the end, the correct move. Oh, no, 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 I don't want to do that. Need one. It's about that time, actually, for me to call it, I think. So we'll just call it there. Chat, how did that sound? How did that sound? Tired of sucking. Stall society. Let's go Rosie. No, Rosie is a completely different person over on the... Rosie plays on the N8. Sparska plays on EU. Let's go last GGs, everyone. I think we'll call it, man. I gotta get some food. I gotta get some lunch or dinner or something, because my whole day's a little off today. I'm eating at a weird time. I also probably really need to go for a walk. I've also been sitting on my PC pretty much the entire time. My foot is feeling like I need to go around and move it a little. Fair enough. Middle break, crazy hectic games. Dude, these were actually so close. Much closer games than I expected. Very, very hectic, but everyone played superb. We didn't get too much variety of classes, but hey, no paladins. So like, can we really get mad at that? Right? No paladin games. I'm pretty sure all of you guys were pretty satisfied with that, yeah? That must have been fun. That must have been a little refreshing, right? No Paladino to just rot it down with Dawn Light. I thought just like my mates play the game and finish that rogue, but he literally killed 4. Yeah, he did really, really well. He did do really, really well. Kill him ASAP, yeah. But that Paladin definitely more fun. That's what we're going to be doing for NA tomorrow. We are still going to stick to the no Paladin games. And we'll see how that goes. It is refreshing though. Let's play the last game quick. No, no, no. I got stuff I gotta do, man. I would otherwise. I would. Nagrand. Why does it translate Nagrand to recorded? Nagrand would have been fantastic, but we'll call it, man. We'll call it for now. There'll be more games next week. Hey, next week is 12:05. We got a bunch of class changes, so I think it's gonna help fresh up the meta a little bit. Maybe, possibly. There are a bunch of class changes there. So like Rogue's got a bunch of new talents, about to get really, really strong all of a sudden. At least for Outlaw. And then we got, what else we got? We got Warlocks with some class changes, just a few, not really too many. Demon Hunters did get in the heal, so like maybe people were playing Devourer for duels potentially, because that will actually be able to like self-sustain a little. Все понятно, стрим когда? Стрим когда? Ну, я не знаю, я... Ребята, я русский, ну что, я живу в Америке. Весь канал, все в английском. Я не знаю, если я думаю, как его, целый стрим русским, но может один день, когда мы играли коллаб один день, может тогда, может он, как его, будет делать дуэли, я, как его, I'll just join him, he'll host, I'll just be like a guest when he hosts it. Got him? Может быть. Lemonade, we'll see plays Devourer. Yeah, let's go, dude. But Duels for Gold? Duels for Gold is weird, because how do you, like, who do you decide, who wins duels then, right? Unless I, like, amass funds and I basically give you out gold for each team that wins. But then I think you just, when you're adding gold inside a competition, people are just gonna, like, just play the best dueling classes, and that's it. Like, that's what the comps are gonna be. Just pack a team full of dueling classes. And I feel like you're not gonna have as much variety. That's the only issue, right? Yeah, boy, yeah, boy. I like how you said, yeah, boy. It said, hey, fight. I guess boy is trying to translate into like the word, like, fight. Or whatever it's called. Anyway, you guys are wonderful, beautiful. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go and start actually going through all the duels. These were a ton of fun, man. A lot of great games, a lot of great plays. I'm gonna start going through them one by one. You guys have a wonderful one. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for duels over in NA. Whether you want to play as NA or if you want to join and watch. That should be a lot of fun. Alrighty, boys. Alrighty. Peace.
I wanna make shockwaves with you, and I know I'm only getting higher, till it feels like I can walk through fire. And I know I'm only getting higher, till it feels like I can walk through fire. Trying to step back and see the view from above, 'cause I know that nothing lasts forever. And I try to crack this iceberg open till it shatters through the ocean.